All right, everybody, welcome in. This is the Thursday Night Forum. Arsenal 2, Wolves 1. We've done the double over Wolverhampton Wanderers. I will go counterclockwise since I don't see Stan's avatar coming alive. Gary, want to start us off? A 2-1 win. All right, we gotta celebrate those times.
I thought we was having a party. No.
Yeah, we kind of are. Yeah, why not? Why not?
You just muted us.
Well, we might get pinged. We don't want to get pinged. You know what I mean? Mr. Tom, you were not here an hour and 2 minutes before takeoff.
Yeah, probably not happy. It's not been a good week for Mr. Tom. But it's been a good night for Arsenal.
A good night for Arsenal, Gary.
Yes.
Start us off, Gary. What's your opening salvo? Opening thoughts?
Well, I guess I'm going to start with the good. I like the last 20 minutes of the match. The first 70 minutes I could do without, but the last 20 I'll take it if that's what we're going to get. It was everything we expected to get out of this game. We were putting pressure on them the whole game, but the last 20 minutes we continue to do that, which is really good. We put in some fresh legs, and they made the difference. As a whole, the team played okay. Just thinking attacking third not so good, but we'll take the last 20 minutes. Let's take that, and that's what we wanted to see. We got to see Pepe today. All right. Got to see Pepe today in a situation when we needed to score, and guess what? He scored, and he assisted. I mean, everything you wanted from him, you got it. So yeah, good game. I'll take that. I don't like the little pain on my heart that he gives me, but I'll take it nonetheless. 3 points, and we are getting closer and closer to where we want to be, which is top 4. And, we still have games in hands to get there. So it's just really good. We get 9 days to rest. You got an old man in Lacazette who will probably be in the ice bath for the next week, trying to recover. But that's okay. We'll take it. And
he may be old. He may be old, but he does like to score. If we're going to give him the goal.
He does like to score. You're funny.
No, listen to me. Listen to me before.
Hey, he was our leading scorer last year.
He does
Gary.
like to score late goals. That's what I was going to say, Gary. He does like to score
you didn't goals. Say it, so I usually go by your first thought.
I'm going to be like Tony. I wasn't finished. Tony, welcome.
I go by what you said, and you stopped.
Tony, you're welcome, but you're out of rotation. You're going to get to speak last, Tony, because you're out of rotation. We're going to go to Alonso next, and then the party boy.
I had a question for Stan. Did he fall and get a traffic cone stuck on his head?
1-0 down, 2 up are always fun games. I said that. Alonso, what was your thoughts on the game? Or
yeah, so it was in my opinion, it was nerve-wracking because we were always in the zone. We were always in their half, right, and we couldn't muster a goal because Lacazette was too busy in ballet class. I mean, he was trying to make a goal and he always got a block or a pass is too late. But it was intense. It was a good game, great game by Wolves. I think that there's a reason why they have a top 4 defense, right? I mean, the guys are very good defensively, and so it was kind of hard to push through sometimes. And when we got a breakthrough in their defense, it seemed like the guys were always anxious to score or always to shoot. So it was good. It was a test, and we passed. And I think sometimes in games like these that we just don't have enough, and we just sit back and just don't do enough and we give up. So it was a good performance by the guys, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah. Stan, you're enjoying today, and you said you were on with Danny from Burkamp Wonderland earlier today. I watched a little bit of it, but I don't want to hear everything. I don't want to hear everything twice again, so I only watched a little bit of it. But explain your outfit. Did we get top 4 or what? Are you celebrating like we got top 4?
Why not? First of all, good evening, you beautiful people, all of you out there who have tuned in this week. And if you happen to have a drink with you, I'd like you to raise your glass and have a little drink with me.
Lemonade?
Ah,
Fresca?
that cool, refreshing drink.
Sponsorship?
That was a fantastic game. You cannot beat gripping the jaws of victory, or the victory out of the jaws in the last minutes of a game. There's nothing that beats it. And I think the last time that I can remember us having that kind of a rip-roaring finish was probably the Danny Welbeck goal.
Yeah.
When we played against Leicester.
Yep.
Now, I did predict a 2-1 on this one when I was on Guns and Yellow Ribbons with Fergus, and they were thinking that I was being a little bit wide. But I had faith, and the reason I had faith was because this fixture and the one that we had before with Brentford, there's 3 teams other than the usual enemies that have got onto my radar this season that have really got up my bugle. Brentford, for the way that they acted after the first win at the beginning of the season. So I had a pin in that one, and I wanted us to seek revenge, and we did. Obviously, as well, Wolves, because of the last game and all of the shenanigans that went on and the way that we managed to scrape that back, and then they took the rise out of us for celebrating. And Aston Villa, for all of that noise and distraction in the summer with their lowball offers for ESR. So I was really up for this game, and I was thinking to myself, the reason I was going with 2-1, because I was thinking to myself, if there was peed off about that last game as I am, they'll want to go out there and I want to give it to them again. And I was watching the game, and when they scored their goal, the man on the telly said, Wolves have never lost a lead in a match when they've gone ahead in a season in this season so far. And I was like, oh no. And I looked at my phone, and I think it was Albrinho. He tweeted out, Arsenal have never gone on to win a game this season when they start off behind. So I was like, well, that's that then. But what a finish. I'm sure we're going to go into it in more detail, but you can't help but think that you take a lot away from winning like that. And you can see that this team is really growing together. You know, we've got a really good team on our hands, but I'm sure we're going to go into more details about individual performances and so forth. Yeah,
definitely. We will go into it in more detail for sure. How many times has Ray said roller coaster, Tony? Well, that's what the season's all about. You got to check your pulse once in a while and make sure you're alive, and football does that to you as well, Tony.
If there was a pedometer, it'd be fucking broken already.
Anything else, Dad? That's it? Is that a full stop?
Wow.
Tony, do you not have any news from the Ukrainian front? You got nothing.
That's why I was on the phone call. I was making sure Conrad made his defense into Ukraine. He's nice and safe in Kiev. His defection's complete. So we have good news, Tonsky.
We all want to say we are all Ukraine tonight, and we're thinking about those people who are in
nasty business
and nasty piece of business. Hopefully, although I can't see it happening, some people come to their senses and do the right thing, because all that's going to happen is pain and suffering to a lot of people in Eastern Europe.
That comes. Can I continue on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Party, isn't it? It's really killed the party.
Well, that takes everybody.
We'll get back to the party.
Everybody that lives in the NATO countries needs to call their officials and say, hey, get this stopped instead of letting Russia do what they want. We all know they're not going to do anything, so let's put some pressure on them, see if they do anything. Actually send some bombs over there, kill some Russians for once.
Yeah, man.
Instead of
Cover.
letting Russians blow up planes full of people and all the other shit they've done the last 10 years. Actually, go in there and do
As
something.
Brady said, we all love our football, but our thoughts and prayers are with Ukraine and their citizens. In this
Perfectly said. Perfectly
difficult
said.
time. Well said, Brady. For the community that we have here, the small community, from us to them. Okay, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Wolves. We've done the double over Wolves. It feels pretty good, right? It feels pretty good.
Yes, it does. And once again, like Stan, I guess I'd like to say hello, everybody in the chats. Welcome to the show. Yeah, Wolves. Coming into the game, I too had a 2-1 win. I figured though we would be the ones giving up the goal late as opposed to getting the goal late.
Yeah.
And I'll take it either way. Yeah, it was great. They're a really good team, as we know coming in. I think after spotting them the goal, you just don't need to do that. They're not, that, yeah. Yes, no, but yeah. So
We'll need to be handing out gifts to.
yeah,
Wolverhampton
we
Wanderers.
shouldn't. We don't need to do that, and they will definitely take advantage of that. I'm gonna say that I assume they did. That's why the game looked the way it did for most of that game. Once they got the lead, it was all in their hands, and they started playing it to the T. And I know it seemed as if minutes after they scored, they started getting into to slow this thing down a little bit. So much so that the crowd, like is that all pointing to their watches and clocks. But that's they're pretty disciplined in that they can do that. They know how to do that pretty well. But you know what? It doesn't matter now. We put a lot of pressure on them, and you saw that in that second, I guess in that last 20 minutes. But yeah, good team. But we got them, and we move on now to the next challenge. We get some time to rest, which is nice. Not having Tamiyasu and Emil Sufro was a little bit, kind of seemed like it was going to hurt us in terms of definitely in terms of depth. But we went to our bench and we got something out of it, for once. And it wasn't a player that we've seen him before, so it was really good to be able to do that. I guess we'll get into that as well later on. But in terms of Wolves, we good team, but we got him. You got him, and we celebrated. I guess like we won the league again.
Listen, it's a big scalp because Wolves have come into this one of the form teams in the league. Behind Liverpool. I think they were behind City and Liverpool. They were the second highest points gatherers in the last 5 or 6 games. And who is the only team that was able to beat them twice in the last couple of weeks? The Arsenal, because we're becoming massive. We're getting there. Yeah. We're not the finished article, and we've been saying it, we've been living on fine margins as we go. And Wolves are a team that live on fine margins as well. They're well drilled in trying to keep the teams against them from scoring. Well, we were able to get 2. And Gary, you mentioned without Tomiyasu and without Emil Smith-Rowe, who could have been a substitute coming on, it was Pepe Alonso who would come on in the end and make the difference. And we've seen this from
it's Pepe and Nketiah, Eddie. Wow. Both of them made a difference.
Yeah. I watched the highlights, I have to say. So
Nketiah,
Eddie was an assister. He assisted.
Yeah. No, he did a lot more than that, but that was, in terms of the score line, definitely. But he's always ready to work, and he did a good job of that. So when he came in, it was good to see. Put a lot of pressure on them, pressing from the front, which was good, and I think that was we needed that, and it worked out perfectly for us. So yeah, so both Nketiah and Pepe, came on and did a good job.
Stan has changed from the party apron, the pink party apron and the cone on the head to primetime 90s strip, is it? And Peaky Blinders, kind of mix of the two there.
Well, you're very kind for saying Peaky Blinders, because my missus says it's more like Norman Wisdom, so,
We'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony, snap. Look at that. I feel like Tony's got like a whole treasure trove of hats there that he can just reach to at any point in time. Alonso, we talked about Pepe coming on and making a difference, and we'll definitely get into the goals and how we went a goal down. But for Pepe to come in and make the difference when Emil Smith Rowe's out through sickness here, United have been doing it, and Arsenal needed to do something similar with their squad to get a win from the bench boost.
Yeah, it was kind of good to see both Eddie Kedia and Pepe do well. I think that we give a lot of Eddie credit to Eddie because he doesn't score in big moments, but I think the way the ball was to him, I think it was Odegaard that passed it to him. Was in the right
I think
place.
It was Ben White's left leg was those blue boots I noticed.
Right, Ben White. So the way Eddie Kedia just threw the ball into Pepe and Pepe did that little turn, I was like, this is awesome, man. I mean, good for both of them because I think that though they're on a pitch, excuse me, Eddie and Kedia is more on the pitch than Pepe. But seeing like both of them work good together was pretty. Seeing them work good together is pretty awesome, and hopefully it'll keep their confidence up because we need them moving forward. And I'm pretty impressed also by our midfield, Party and Xhaka. They put in a shift today. I thought that they were pretty well organized there and good partnership. So I'm sure we talk about that later on. But it was just a good, I guess, 20 minutes of Arsenal just pushing and pushing and pushing. And, I think that it was a good performance, I guess. Not the best, but the best 20 minutes of Arsenal football I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, just going by the highlights, it looked like Arsene Wenger football when they would keep the pressure, keep the team penned in, and that winning goal came from Saka on the left, recycled ball to Pepe, Odegaard, and Laka working together, and Lacazette getting through. So, Stan, this is what we're going to need this season: contributions from the players that are going to be sitting on the bench and coming. We need them to come in and make an impact.
It was a dogged performance. It wasn't champagne football. I thought Ramsdale looked a little bit iffy at times with his distribution. I think our best defender on the day was actually Cedric, which I thought was a nice surprise. I thought the rest of our defenders had a little bit of a torrid time. Tierney had a lot of trouble with Semedo on that left-hand side and got caught wanting a few times and got spun a few times. Gabriel and Benny Blanco. I think what was happening was with Gabriel, he was man-marking Jimenez, but he was really man-marking him, and he would find himself getting dragged all the way across and going across Rob Holding, Benny Blanco, because he was tracking his man so much, which kind of led to that goal, But Martin Odegaard, man, has to get a special mention for me. I mean, the guy's like the puppet master. He's 22 years old. He cost us 30 million from Real Madrid. I mean, that's a steal, man. That's some nice bit of business. When you consider that there was a huge section of our fan base wanted us to go and shell out double the amount for Maddison.
Yeah.
I mean, for me,
or if we'd have gone the Buendia for about 5 million more, 35, 40.
Exactly, the Buendia option was what a lot of
doing
people
right
wanted
now?
as
Not
well.
a whole lot, you would say.
But in saying what I'm saying about that back unit having a bit of a torrid time, bar Cedric, who I thought was our best, there are some other players that I have to give special mention to. And one of them is a player that I don't give a lot of praise to. In fact, it's a player that I don't give any praise to. I thought Granit Xhaka had a good game. He grew into the game. He had Neves on his toes, mate. He was causing Neves some problems. He grew into the game, and I like the way that he's kind of moving further up the pitch now. And I think Mikel Arteta has realised the further away from our goal Xhaka is, the less accidents can happen. So he's been kind of moved up a little bit.
It's a very simple but very straightforward and makes a lot of sense, common sense. Kind of
but then on top of that, now it means that Thomas Partey's almost playing sometimes in the single pivot and is playing quite deeper. And I think he had a bit of other than the shooting, if you can take him trying to put the ball right into orbit, other than that, I thought he had what I would call a kind of a Rolls Royce performance today.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey. You know, so we were quite fortunate in that middle part of the park. But then you look at the sharp end of it. I mean, can I be the only one that was, at least when it got to 60 minutes, I was thinking it's time to make a change here somewhere. And maybe the change that I'm looking at is to hook Lacazette, maybe move Martinelli further forward, put Saka on the left and bring Pepe in. That's what I was kind of thinking that we should be doing. And I'm so glad that no one was listening to me.
Hey, Stan, I got a question. I got a comment on that. So I'm watching the game with my mom, right? And she says the same thing, that Pepe should have been brought in earlier in the match. And I was like, you're right. He should have, but in hindsight, I think maybe it was meant to be. But yeah, we thought the same thing, Stan. That changes should have been made way before that happened.
Agree with that, yeah. There's no more.
What are we waiting for? Usually you intro people. Now today you're sitting there quiet.
Ray's stuck at the top of a roller coaster.
No, we're waiting.
The wheels fell off the roller coaster.
So Tony, I do have my next question for you, Tony. I didn't freeze or anything like that.
Wow.
Seems to me, looking at the highlights, okay, we got our result because a ball deflects off of Ramsdale and goes very narrowly wide, very early in the second half, and a ball deflects off the Wolves goalkeeper and goes into the net. So, we got a little bit of rubber green there. It's the look, really, right? Because we could have went numerous times. We could have went 2-0 down in this game, Tony, and I don't know if we're coming back at least to win the game at 2-0 down.
Yeah, we could have. You mentioned the deflection. To me, that goal would have still probably went in.
I think it was going wide from Lacazette. His shot was going wide. Saka may have gotten to it, but Saka tried to save it and it went off.
Saka was sitting right there. There's no way he would have missed that if the goalkeeper.
Numerous occasions, Tony, we were very close to going 2-0 down after 13 minutes. Jimenez has a great chance.
Yeah.
Are you
trying to say we got outplayed, right? Are you trying to make a point that we got outplayed and still came back and won?
No, I mean, when you go goal down, it's very often the next goal is scored.
I mean, they had chances to go up 2, but not that many. It wasn't like they had like 5 and 6 chances. They might have had 2 good ones. I think Neto, it might have been 1, or Neves, I can't remember, and then definitely the Jimenez chances. But I don't think they had that many. Like, they didn't have a lot, but they had some really good opportunities.
I'm trying to figure out Ray's point here.
The fact that we had like 20 shots towards the goal is that's where we need to work on that. We had a lot of
not many
chances inside the box where we should have at least been able to put them on target. We couldn't even do that. I mean, I think the first shot on target was 70 minutes into the match, which is pretty poor for having like over 10 shots at that point. But yeah, they had their chances to take a lead, and you know what? I think all of their shenanigans came back to hurt them, right? I mean, they didn't get the second goal. They were trying to delay the game. I mean, we'll get it. I guess I don't know if we can get into that, but just the whole like substitution, fiasco, basically. I mean, we had, all of that stuff. Just what they tried, it didn't work, and they paid for it.
They tried.
They paid for it. They tried to steal the game after we gave them the goal, and we were able to take it back. So we'll take that all day.
Mr. Thomas hating on Liverpool. Listen, we're right there. We hate Liverpool as well, but you're hurting
as well. The irony of the time wasting by Wolves so early on, and then losing it in the extra minutes that are added on. The irony of that isn't lost to me, and you get what you deserve, right?
Yeah.
Lots of us question the Martinelli substitution, but that turn from Pepe, glad he's proved me wrong.
Yeah.
The talent is there. He just has to get on the field and be consistent with it. Gary looks like he's
He can be consistent, but he has to consistently be played, which he never has under Arteta.
Sure.
So
Sure. All right, get the
it's
field.
kind of hard for him to be consistent when he hasn't given the chances.
Yeah,
to.
and listen, it's happened many, many times with Pepe. He's performed, and Arteta has not continued to use him. So hopefully it's a wake-up call with Arteta on the sidelines thinking about this. Stan, let's start off with the goal we conceded then. I know horrible blind.
You don't get to ask me my thoughts on the game, Ray?
You were going in a particular order. Now we're going back again? What?
We never went to
Yeah, we go around that way, and then we can go around that way.
You never give. Okay.
Yeah.
It's part of a roller coaster, right?
You had your chance to speak, Tony. I asked you something, and you were like, "Yeah."
Yeah, exactly.
And then there was silence.
You were trying to make a weird point on the stupid. Their opportunities, right? They didn't score.
All right,
we won.
Who wants to talk about Gabriel's back pass? It's a democracy.
Well, before that, there was the offside one, which was the warning, right? Within a few minutes, they scored. The ball was in the net, but luckily it was offside, and I was like, come on, you got to keep steady here, and then they scored.
You know what? That was that was our defense doing what it's supposed to, right? They were all in line.
Yes.
The only way they were going to get that opportunity is if they were offsides, and they were. And the goal is going to go in. So it's hard to say that was a warning in the sense that we actually played the defense the way we're supposed to. If they go offsides and score, it's not like it was inches. It wasn't like it was like a centimeter off. Like we definitely had them all playing offside. I mean, if you looked at it, they had like almost 4 players offside at that point, right? So I kind of feel like it wasn't necessarily a warning as opposed to like our defense is good, let's keep it up.
Yeah, as long as you can play offside, it is just a warning and it's not going to hurt you.
I don't know. For me, when you see the ball go in the back of the net, sometimes it's different if the whistle blows and then you kick the ball and it just goes in and the goalkeeper's standing there. But when it's in a move, I think to myself, like, just next time you might get it wrong.
Yeah.
And we have no confidence in the refs to master this thing called VAR.
Bro, what are you supposed to do in that scenario? The referee or VAR has to catch it out. We have no choice, right? We have no choice at that point. And the only thing we can do is bring down the runner, and we don't want to do that. So it's not really. I don't know what else we can do in that situation. We actually played it perfectly, and as long as everybody knew that, then I think we're okay.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of offside. You have to have a back line that knows how to play it and all step out in line or let their players go. So the first goal after 10 minutes then, Alonso. Back pass from Gabriel. I think this is, if you got to blame something, I think you do have to blame it on the player, but Arteta as well. He seems quite adamant in always playing from these positions. For me, you put the ball in row Z, and you continue playing, you reset, and you play again. You disagree, Gary?
That's all Gabriel. I mean, he's my boy and all, but that's all Gabriel.
I've given you a perfect opportunity. I've given you a stick.
No. I mean, you look at him. I don't think he knew where he was passing the ball. It was a terrible pass. Yes, White could have maybe marked his man a little bit closer, but nobody on that field, nobody in that stadium was expecting that pass to go the way it was at that point. Like you said, I mean, I think he was just trying to get the ball from out of his feet as soon as possible, and he didn't get a good touch on it, and it just dribbled right into the path of the attacking player.
Well, he played the ball. He played the ball too high. He didn't play it far enough to Ramsdale, who was deeper.
He played it perfectly for the goal that it was. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like he was almost like playing like an offensive player at that point. But it was because he didn't. I don't think he knew where he was when he made that pass. In terms of it was for me, it looked like he was just trying to get the ball out as quick as possible and missed it. And that's all on Gabriel. I know he knows he made a mistake and by that time it's a little too late 1-on-1 at that point when you got a running attacker at the goal, and they were able to, no matter the angle, still was able to put it through right at that point. So all on Gabriel. I don't think that we can't blame anybody else. He's got, and you can blame Arteta if you want in terms of like, preparation. Like these guys have to be, on at all times and make sure they know what they're doing. But that's all on Gabriel.
Yeah, Gary, and also from what the play commentators had said was that he had his head down, so he couldn't possibly look up to where he was passing it to, assuming that he knew where Ramsdale would be. So Ramsdale, being a good goalie that he is, would have probably maybe done more. But again, I think Gabriel.
I think Ramsdale is in the position he needs to be in. The ball
Right.
just wasn't given to him correctly, and now Ramsdale's got to come forward to try and meet the ball, and the striker gets there before Ramsdale has an easy opportunity to get past him.
Right, but also the problem is that the way that the build up to that play was that I think Ben White was caught, therefore Gabriel had to cover more room, and then Gabriel just decided to defend that ball and back passed it to Ramsdale. Ramsdale he couldn't do enough, which in most cases he would have had, in my opinion, Gabriel just looked up instead of looking down. So
we will, and Stan, we see this later with Nketiah and Pepe. Nketiah goes from central to outside, and then Pepe comes from outside centrally to get his goal. The same thing happened with the Wolverhampton Wanderers. Jimenez going out wide to pressure Gabriel, and Wang came inside.
My read on that, and I said it earlier, that the way Gabriel was man marking Jimenez, and so he tracked him. When that ball came into Gabriel, he should have done a first time pass back to Ramsdale. But what he did was, from my reading of it, he took a touch first. And when he took that touch first, I think it kind of flat footed Ramsdale, who was expecting it to come on the first time, and that's where the confusion lied. And as Alonso pointed out, it didn't really help White, because Gabriel was keeping his man, was keeping on his man, and sort of came right across the box.
2-1, Mr. Tom. They did play tonight. Where have you been? Tony, what was your read on that goal? On that goal for Wolves?
My read on the goal is, I'll go back to what I said on the weekend.
And more than 5 words.
It's gonna be a lot more than 5 words, because
yeah,
like
but
I said on the weekend,
no more than 50, Tony. It's a cap.
I said on the weekend that both Ramsdale and Gabriel probably had some of their worst games in the season. They're both still sloppy tonight. They're one on top of their game. Gabriel kicked the ball. It went into the back of the net. Pretty much end of story. You can blame both players. They both fucked up. They both haven't been sharp the last couple games. They've been our best defenders all year. They just haven't been so the last couple games.
Yeah. BX, what was your favorite comic, mate? Where's Spawny Mark? He's probably gone into hiding already. Yeah. So Stan, that's now a couple of sloppy goals for the Arsenal at home against Brentford late in the game. We're giving away some cheap goals last 2 games.
Yeah, but I just think that it's an age. It's a profile of the team. They're still growing together, this team. And as what I said earlier about about the 60th minute of thinking that we should change something and take Lacazette off. I think what you saw with Lacazette's performance was he had a nightmare at times. Nothing seemed to be coming off for him, right? But before he helped get that goal, which I'm going to give to him, I'm going to give it to Lacazette. He earned it. It doesn't happen without his industry to help that goal. Before that, even though he was having such a nightmare, he was up for it. And did you see when he went over to the touchline and he was geeing up the crowd and he was like, "Come on!" Yep. That's why he's going to continue to get picked, because we haven't got that senior figure in and around the team. And had Mikel Arteta listened to me and taken Lacazette off, then we probably might have folded a little bit, because we didn't have that lack of leadership. And it was the tenacity of Lacazette to try and do something with that ball that forced the keeper into an OG. So I take my hat off to him.
Stan, would you sign him for another year since
No.
there's not that
Oh, no, no.
leadership?
No, not at all. I'd rather bring in somebody who has leadership. You know, if we're going to need more than one striker, if we're going to need, I would say 3 between now and January. One of the 3, and the first one we should bring in, needs to have some leadership quality about them. You know, we can't go out and get by a couple of strikers that are all like 2021. Do you know what I mean? If we move Jacker on and bring in another midfielder, he's 22. We need to have some experience who's maybe played in more than one league, who's maybe won something. They don't have to play every week, but we need that in and around the team. And I get it now. As much as I'm sore with Lacazette, I get it now. Why he has to be in there.
Someone 24 to 26 work for you, or you need somebody a little older than that?
If you're going to bring in 3, Tony, I'd like one to be around about 29, approaching 30. He doesn't have to play every week, but someone that knows what it's about and knows where the back of the net is. The main guy who's going to take the crown, I like him to be maybe about 24 to 26. And then the other one, I'd like to be maybe, a 20-year-old. And then, of course, we've got young Balogun who'll be coming back into the fold. That's just me.
Yeah. Listen, and the point I was trying to make to Tony earlier was we go a goal down, and we go another goal down against a Wolves team. They did it against Tottenham. They went 2-0 up after 20 minutes. We're in danger of doing that as well. Being in a hole that deep, you're not going to dig yourself out of it. If your Arsenal team is living by fine margins, we're living off fine margins without Emile Smith-Rowe in the lineup as well.
Thanks for answering my question.
What?
So thanks for answering my questions 15 minutes later.
Good. Stephen, I'm still buzzing from the win, mate. And
that's after you.
I think we have to really savor these wins as well. Now it's 14 wins out of 24 games. And I was looking earlier today. 1-0 down, Gary. I was thinking, well, we're still going to do the podcast, but it's a lot more fun when you win games.
Yeah. No, I mean, it did look like that, didn't it? But I mean, I did a watch along, and basically at halftime, I said, you know what? If we don't put any subs in around 60 before, like around that 65th minute, it's not gonna. They're just gonna run away with this game. They tried, but as much as I understand why it worked out today that we didn't pull some of the players like Lacazette. And Lacazette, I mean, like you said, I take my hat off to him as well. He decided he was going to take over the entire pitch. I said this earlier today. I mean, if you looked at I don't know where his chart is that tracks where he went in this game, but he was pretty much everywhere. He was everywhere on this pitch today. And for me, that's what we need. At some point, somebody's going to have to take it on themselves just to say, you know what, I'll do it. And he tried. He tried that today.
And look, he did that against Crystal Palace as well earlier in the season, albeit a late goal. We got a draw, and he gets a late goal or forces the late goal today. On the stoop, Lolo's in the house. He said, well, who called a 2-1 win? Hands up, who called a 2-1 win?
Yeah, but like I said, he did everything.
I called 1-1 Sunday on your show and switched it to 2-1 Monday.
You didn't call it 2-1.
You're always changing.
You were scared. Tony, you said
I was scared. What did I pick on your show, Gary? What did I end up picking on your show?
I don't know. I kind of blanked out.
What did I pick on your show, Gary?
If you pick every score going, you're going to be right.
I don't remember a lot of things. So
I said I went with 1-1 on your show. Then I said I'm going to be a little optimistic and go for 2-1.
Guess what? It was 2-1, and you were scared of Wolves.
Yes.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
And you know what? Like
they almost won, didn't they, Ray?
Yeah.
No.
I bet it was definitely a 3-1 game for us today. We just played really poorly for like 70 minutes in terms of any kind of chance.
Ray's coming after me instead of Gary.
You're going after Ray. That's you know what? One of us will have to go after him. That's all. So that's all right.
Lolo, where's Mark? Worried about his printer tonight, says Ready. You know, I don't blame Mark. You know, he had a tough goal, but he had to fight against most Arsenal fans over there a couple of nights ago in the great debate. And fair play to him. He's picked Wolverhampton Wanderers, but, you know, he has to accept that we are Arsenal. We are massive and we're better than Wolves now. Laka must have heard all the fans calling for his head. I said 2-1. I said 3-1.
The only thing you can complain about him is he doesn't score. That's the only thing. He gives you everything else, and that's why, like you said, that's why he's going to play, because you can't. There's not too many players on the
He's
pitch
not
that
in the
give you.
position to score most of the time, so he can't
He is in
score.
positions to score, so that's an excuse. He is in positions to score because he has
Not most of the time. He's back.
He has opportunities every game to score one-on-ones with the goalkeeper, and he screws it up every time. So
it's a so focused goal scoring.
Hey,
What?
Gary,
It's a so focused playing striker. No, Gary, it's not.
Hey,
Who was our leading scorer last season?
Well, I'm sure he's got a good goal bonus in his contract, Tony, as a striker.
I bet he don't have the same. I bet he don't have the one that Uba had.
Hey, Gary, I like to comment on what you had said about Lacazette. I think tonight you saw some defensive play from him too that really warrants some positive things, because he went back all the way back to the corner.
Gary said he covered every position except Ramsdale.
Yeah, he was sitting in between the center backs at one point. I mean, he was up top, of course. He was in midfield helping out there. I mean, I think somebody ran out of tea. He would grabbed a couple bags of tea, put it in hot water, and served that. He did everything today. He's going to be tired, and he should. I mean, he should be tired. He did a lot.
There was that one move, There was that one move where everybody was kind of in our half, and the ball kind of popped out near the centre circle, and he managed to wriggle away, and he was running with the ball, and he had a long way to go, but he had this green grass in front of him, and it was like watching a $6 million man, in the slow motion. And I was like,
but he was going full speed. He was going full speed.
And I just like, any minute now, he's fucking one of his knees are just going to blow. And then one of the other, and then he done that move where he stepped over the ball and left the ball behind him, and had to go back, like to collect the ball. And I was just like, oh. But what I'm saying is,
really, we are having fun arguing. We're having fun arguing.
But what I'm saying is, maybe a better striker, maybe a Vlahovic or anybody in that position would have been able to continue and get a shot away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he's giving everything. He's giving everything, and he can't take that away. He's giving everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are happy, but we gotta analyze the little bits and pieces that we saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna debate. We're enjoying this debate, though. It's not like we're moping around here. And Stephen has come to Tony's defense. Somewhere, Stephen heard 2-1 from Tony, but I think Tony said 1-0. The Wolves, 1-0.
I said 1-1 on your show, Ray. I said 1-1.
The man just said he agrees with you,
Gary.
I know. I said 1-1.
Now he's still screaming. Why are you still screaming at us?
Because you're not letting me fucking speak.
We are, of course, we are. When we let you speak, there's silence, there's tumbleweed. When we do let you speak, this team needs to continue to build off of this momentum. No downing tools, a strong push to the finish. If Pepe is back, fire from BX Gunner. Alonso, just to outline the first half, what was your thoughts on the first half then?
I think that, the movement was there. I think, like I said before, in the past, they kind of, whenever Arsenal gave up the first goal, they kind of moved around, didn't really do much. We kind of just waited for something to happen, and boom, there's a pass and whatever. But we fought back. We didn't give up even until the first half. We were still fighting, right? So we just knew as supporters that a goal was going to come. We just didn't know when. And everything we played them well defensively too, where we didn't really give them a chance. We had some times that it felt kind of iffy. Especially they could have tied it as well. But yeah, I mean, I think they held together in the first half pretty well. I mean, as well as you could do despite getting a first goal, right? And then we were attacking too, right? So, all in all, it's half we could have scored, but we didn't. So, I mean, but we weren't. It's not like they didn't try to score. So
Yeah.
that was pretty encouraging going into the second half. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing they could have done better in the first half to warrant a goal. It just didn't work out that way. So I mean, it happens.
Tony, by all accounts, we started off pretty slow. We were asleep in the first half, right?
Yep. And I was good with the thing. You didn't ask our thoughts of a lineup. And as I go back to what Lolo, me, and Gary talked about Monday, that Pepe should have started against Brentford as striker.
Yeah.
And he should have started today as striker. Martinelli off to the left. Stan's disagreeing with me, but you'd see what Pepe gives you for 90 minutes. Give him a chance. Has he been given that chance?
I think we can only really do any kind of experimentation, and I don't know when we're going to be 2-0 up in a game, but that's
couldn't we do it against Brentford? Why couldn't we experiment against Brentford? They're not that good of a club.
Yeah, we could have if Martinelli hadn't been suspended for that game. I believe he would have played. He may have played him through the middle against Brentford. See what that looked like, but him getting sent off against Wolves.
But why couldn't you have experimented against Brentford, Ray? They've been a boulder dropping down the Premier League.
With who? Experiment with who?
Pepe, anybody.
He doesn't believe in Pepe. He brought Pepe on. What minute did Pepe come on?
80th minute?
71st minute.
He doesn't believe in a lot of players, right?
That's why. Which minute, Gary?
71st.
71st. So isn't that like one of the last throws of the dice when you're a goal down? Bring Pepe and Kedia on.
That's usually when he makes his first sub. So
looking at the subs bench, you had Leno, Holding, Tavares, Swanson, who's a right back, Elneny, Lakonga, Hutchinson, Pepe, and then Kedia. So there's about 4 senior players, outfield players you're going to go with there.
In a game like this, right, you have to have some variety coming from the bench, and the only real threat and variety that we have is Nicola Pepe, who can come on and cause chaos, and to a certain extent, Eddie Nketiah. And I know that although Pepe scored today, you don't have to clamour and say, should he be starting? Should he be starting? In my opinion, I don't think he should be starting. I think that we have quite a solid starting 11, but you still have to have some variety to come off of the bench in case your original plan's not working. You can't throw your cards out first time. You know what I mean? You can't just throw your cards on the table. You've got to hold something back. And it worked today.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I would agree with making certain changes, but we have not heard anything about Pepe practicing up top. We've heard Martinelli, but we haven't heard anything about Pepe starting up top. And you know what? We got to put the Arteta factor in. He's just not going to make those type of adjustments. He doesn't. I mean, that's to me one of the reasons why he's a young manager. He doesn't understand.
This is a wider conversation, but you can't really make these risks. This is a risk guy.
Well, let me finish. I don't think he's not a manager that's going to look at all of his players and know day one how he's going to use them in every situation. He's just not going to do that. I don't believe. I don't think he's at that level in his coaching career where he can actually look at or manage your career, take a look at all the players on a squad and then go, you know what, based on what I see and based on what I've researched, this is where I see I can use them in certain situations. Right. I think he's got, he knows what he knows, and he's just going to go with that until he can make an adjustment or get forced into it. All right.
Oh yeah.
When he gets forced into it and it works, and he's like, oh, okay, this might work. But then He's not going to change his ways. He's been pretty disciplined in that, which is, we want discipline in our managers and
Good
coaches.
thing, right?
But at some point, and that's where we are. That's where we are. That's why I always feel like he needs to get his players in, then he'll feel comfortable playing them wherever, right? You see it every time he brings in a new player. Sometimes he brings them in and they don't even start their first game, isn't even in the position that's their strong point, right? Tavares comes on as a left back. First game he starts, plays in, he's at right back, right? So I think he knows the players that he's brought in, the ones that are already here, doesn't have as much
And
confidence in them.
he's just not going to make that change. He's not going to play Martinelli through the middle because Lacazette is that senior leadership. He's wearing the armband, and he's giving the team something. We don't like everything that he's giving, but he's giving something. And to change things now, after 24 games, and you can see the position we're in. We're 6 points ahead of Tottenham with the same amount of games played. We are 3 points ahead of West Ham with 2 games in hand. Now 5 points ahead of Wolves with 1 game in hand. So we've really knocked Wolves out of the picture. At one point tonight, they were above us in the table, being 1-0 ahead. And we're a point behind Manchester United with 2 games in hand. We're in a good position, albeit with 11, 12, 13 players every game, So it's really tough to clamor for that change and say we're going to get better because we just don't know it's going to be better.
Can I just add as well? I mean, there's a time and a place to experiment. The time to experiment is in the Carabao Cup game, or maybe an early, Europa League game or something like that, or when you're coasting in the league. It's not when you're fighting for a Champions League place, because when I say there's a time and a place to experiment, do you remember when Mikel Arteta experimented in the first leg of the semi-final by playing ESR as a false 9? Look how that went, mate. That was not the time and the place to pull that out of the bag.
No. And I think the team is a lot better equipped if he would ever play that again, but I don't want him to play false 9. And recently, the media or Arteta has mentioned false 9 in the last week or two, and that scares me just a little bit. We know what we are right now, and it's gotten to us to this position. The clamor is for Martinelli. It could be brilliant, but we can't. Would you roll that dice? Would any of you roll that dice?
Nope.
No, because if that were the case, then we should do it against Burnley. Burnley are 18th now. So, I think that it's just weird, right? Because if you're going to do it, you should have done it in a League Cup, right, game or something like that, So I think that time has settled where experimenting is done. I think Arteta probably learned his lesson. But that's not to say that Martinelli should give a shout at center forward. I think he's the best option there at this time. But we'll see what happens.
And Gary, tell us what happened with Martinelli, because I didn't see the game. He ran himself ragged and he just tired himself out. Is that what happened, or he wasn't?
I really don't know why he got pulled. Because I really don't know. I never thought he was going to come off.
Was he booked?
I don't think so. No. I just think that was just whatever was in Arteta's plan was to take him off. The one player that shouldn't have needed to come off in this match was Martinelli. A man hasn't played in like 2 weeks. He can go 90 minutes and then have another 9 days off. So for me, I didn't get the move at all because of the fact that he's the one that probably has the most legs on him going into this match, like I said, the one player that
they all have 2 legs, Gary.
Sorry.
Except for Pepe, he has one.
The one player I think that, probably needed to have a little break was Saka, right? That's who I thought. But, that ESR kind of that injury kind of shut that out, basically right there. But, he was – I don't know why he came. I didn't see anything from him that I would say, you know what, it's time to take him out. And, like we've said, maybe Lacazette comes off at that point and you bring in Pepe and then you speed things up a little bit since you're chasing a goal, right? Maybe we don't get the goal, but it'd be nice. I kind of feel like it'd be nice to see what happens when you have a Pepe and a Erdegaard and Saka chasing the game.
Yeah, I mean there is going to be situations where you can take Lacazette out, and you can maybe try that. It's going to be a last resort. Put Martinelli through the middle. It's going to be scenarios like
Yeah,
that.
but why would you take Lacazette out?
Well, if you're
Just playing
controlling
in
the
the
game,
game.
we were controlling, there was no against Burnley. I think we were controlling that game. They weren't going to get anything on us, right? We were controlling that game, and at some points it looked like, you know what, Lacazette, this would have been the game for Lacazette to maybe sit out, because we were controlling the game basically from the front and the middle, no problem, right? And those are the types of games I feel like we don't need to necessarily play him, because the stuff that he was doing today, right? He didn't need to do that against Burnley, right? Because we pretty much can control the game. We just were really poor in front of the goal, and he was one of the reasons why. All right, you bring in some younger legs, maybe the game comes out looks a little different. But
71st minute, Pepe comes on for Martinelli in 71st minute. Then really throwing the kitchen sink at it with Cedric coming out and Eddie and Kedia coming on. Let's get through a few comments and then we'll get to the good stuff here. What I don't want to see happen is us lose Cedric, Laka, Elneny, and Xhaka and go into next season short-handed yet again, but with more games to play. We need like 10 players minimum.
Yeah.
I think BX is saying these are maybe Lacazette's going to go, but we probably have to get used to the idea of some players sticking around that we maybe don't want. But those players are squad players, cup players. You know what I mean?
We definitely need depth. We definitely need depth, regardless of whatever we do. So
playing through the middle was our strength under Wenger. There could be a return to that philosophy under Arteta, as we saw today in the second half. Yeah, and Gary, it's going to depend very much so, and we get Champions League. The players that are playing right now in the Premier League, a lot of their time will be in the Champions League, and that squad depth will be devoted to a lot of league games as well. Pepe's finish was sublime. I'm too old for that killer stuff. We're talking about Tony and Lolo's getting into it about their stuff. You know what I mean? The blackberry cheesecake. Gary, he's been talking about trying those guys out in different attacking options before this game. He said it depends on who we play against and how they play. Lacazette for hold up, Pepe pace countering. I think game state situations are going to dictate any kind of experimentations.
Yeah, but why would he experiment now after he's seen what Pepe did in AFCON?
Yeah, he brought him on because Pepe had a good AFCON. Why do you think Pepe came on today and came on Sunday?
Yeah, but why couldn't he start it off against a shittier team on a weekend? Because nobody's giving me an answer why he couldn't come on.
When was the game? We're playing games every 10 days, something like that, right?
Our last league game, he could have started.
Over who? Saka or Emile Smith-Rowe?
For me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I think we need to rotate these players. I know everybody's talking about, well, we have 7+ games, days between the games, and we don't, so we don't really need to rotate. But we do.
Saka's been ragged since the season started. He's needed a rest forever, and he hasn't gotten one.
There's going to be minimal rotation, Gary.
No, I get that, but I don't think we need to do that when we have players that can pick up the slack. I mean, Pepe offers you something. There's no way you're going to be able to depend on these players if they just sit idle on the bench, right?
Yeah, you got to use
them. You have to rotate them in. You have to.
Yeah.
And you know what? You have to. At the least, you're going to have to rotate one of Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, and Saka because they all don't play together right now.
Look at it this way. Cedric's getting a good run when Tomiyasu comes back. When he's fit again, he's back in the team. So Cedric he's rolled in, he's had his run.
Yeah.
Pepe's had 2 substitute appearances, and he showed up today.
But he's worthy of a start. And you know what? This is the same with Tavares, right? When Tierney was out, Tavares came in and handled his business while he was in there, right? And so that's what we want. We got that. Pepe can handle his business, I believe, if he has the confidence of the manager,
Yeah, and I don't know. I want to know what Arteta's thinking when Pepe pops up and scores that equalizer. Really said,
Yeah.
"Is this the real Pepe we saw tonight, who's worth 72 million?"
Yeah.
We saw
Think
a little
about
bit toward the
yeah.
end of last season as well.
Think
Go ahead.
about the move he did. Guess who did that move just before that? I mean, or many times we've seen him do that. Even we did it. He did it at least twice today. Lacazette in the box gets the ball and he with his back to goal and needs to spin around and take a shot. Both times he flied it. You know, in that second half, same thing. He puts a foot on it. It ends up in the stands, and
Yeah.
you're like, come on, dude.
Lolo, we have one game in hand over Chelsea. And we will get within 2 points if we win that game in hand.
Yeah.
We'll get, and
We win
really,
that game, and then we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be a game ahead of them. So it's
sometimes
a point ahead of them.
too
So
much break is not good for your legs. Come on, you Gunners. Arsenal, Don Juan is here. Arsenal are a good team. I've been telling you these things for months. We get it, Tom. We get it. We want more. We're greedy. We are.
we know our starting 11, and when we have our starting 11 clicking, we can compete with most teams in the league, if not all of them. Right? We've seen us
Noe,
do it. So
join us on Sundays, Noe. So, Stan, Pepe, that's a
yeah,
great drag back. Who's bigging up Nketiah who came on? Was that you?
Me?
I think anybody watched the match would have said Nketiah did a really good job when he came in.
Has Cedric gone up in your estimation in the last couple of games?
He's had a good last few games, not a couple. I think the last few games that he's played, he's been fairly stand up. So long may it continue. I'm judging. I like to judge. If there's some things I judge on a game by game basis, but so far he's looking as a good deputy to Tomiyasu. But we can't deny we have seen him have some nightmares in an Arsenal shirt, some shockers in an Arsenal shirt. But again, this is a guy that scored on his debut, right? So let's see what happens. But so far, so good.
Alonso and Nketiah did well, didn't he? Interesting, says Mr. Tom. Now,
Yeah.
Alonso, you mentioned that drag back. Let's talk about that drag back from Pepe.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, but I think what was cooler was build-up play between Odegaard.
Build-up play doesn't matter. We need goals.
What the hell? It's not even your discussion.
Wow. Okay, Donsky. So the build-up play between Odegaard, Pepe to Odegaard to Nketiah to Pepe was pretty promising and pretty cool to see. I think that a drive back by Pepe was pretty awesome actually, because I don't think we didn't expect that from Pepe, because he's been on the bench so much this year, and seeing Nketiah finally do something that matters in the game like this one was pretty awesome too. And we do give him a lot of stick because he kind of deserves it, but to see him in that pass is pretty cool too, man. So I think both of them did their job today as substitutes, and hopefully it gives them confidence moving forward to hopefully score more goals and give them more assists. So yeah, well played again.
Yeah, definitely, Stan. You're thinking of Nketiah and you think Everton, that header on the doorstep, it's against the bar. You think of a couple of other things where he's fluffed his lines, and you don't actually think of him in the Premier League as doing things. And tonight, he was contributed for Pepe's goal.
Isn't it refreshing to have, rather than just having substitutions because somebody's tired and it's just a person for a person, and they have no real consequence in the game, and they jog around, and you think, well, you ain't even going to need to get your kit washed for the next game. Just pack it on the shelf and wear it again because it's so clean. It's nice to have, you see the manager making changes, because look, this is a podcast, right? And I just want to say to the people listening, in no way do I want to downplay today's result. We're here and we're talking about he could have done this change or maybe that and blah, blah, blah. We're not saying, we're discussing that, but let me make it perfectly clear. I'm glad Mikel Arteta did none of those things. Because if he did, we might not have had the 3 points.
Yeah.
So it's kudos to the players and the manager. So in no way am I downplaying the win and what Mikel Arteta did. We're just here discussing could have, should have, maybes, right? I'm
Yep.
glad he didn't do any of it because it was the right thing. We got 3 points, and that's all that matters. But the question was,
the memory of we want to wipe the bad memories of Nketiah against Everton and such.
Yeah, the point. Yeah, the point that I wanted to
memory.
make there is that both of the substitutions they came on and it was meaningful.
Yeah.
They contributed. They made something happen. And I want to, it's easy to say, well, let's start Pepe in the next game. But I look at Pepe as he's like a horse, right? If you just let him on the pitch, he's just going to start from the beginning. He'll canter around a little bit and maybe do a little bit of dressage. You know what I mean? But if you don't let him start, he's in like that box, the thin box, and he's like that. As soon as you open the door, he's running out to get in there. And that's how I kind of think of Pepe. If we want to keep him chomping at the bit, give him the minutes, but keep him hungry. He seems to sort of thrive in that. And I do think that he's going to be gone in the summer. I don't think he's done enough to convince Mikel Arteta that he's a mainstay. And I don't think that Nicola Pepe is the sort of player that's going to just want to continue to be a squad player. So up until that change is going to happen, which I think will happen in the summer, let's keep him chomping at the bit. It's working.
We shall see, Stan, because I disagree with most of that.
I mean, I don't. If that's the case, Ray, he would be he would be part of the rotation, and we wouldn't be looking at, Nketiah.
Are we talking about Pepe or Nketiah?
Pepe, you're saying Pepe being back, right?
I think Pepe is a player that is a good squad player.
Arteta doesn't fancy him, so it doesn't matter, right?
We have much more fish to fry than Pepe as a squad.
But Ray, do you see Pepe being okay with being a squad player? Do you see him being okay in the?
I don't see him
in the mold of Rob Holding or how El Neni. They understand their lane. They stay in their lane. I think Pepe's going to want more than that.
He's been kept in his lane for 2 seasons behind Willie and
but that's all in the manager. I don't think that's what he wants. I mean, I don't believe that's what he wants.
You haven't heard anything to the contrary.
Nobody hears anything from him, so it's not like it's not like we're missing something. Pepe is Pepe.
If you're Pepe, you're handing in your transfer request.
It's not even that. But if you have a Pepe on your team, you're better off letting him go and bringing somebody else in if it's only to come in for sub duty. It means you've got a valuable player there. You saw what he did today in a little bit of time that he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can get some of that from other players out there, and you know what? We probably get some money for him, right? So
I can't hear the money. You're too loud.
Oh, what is that?
All right. Oh, cool.
I don't know what's going on there.
The basement door was open.
Oh. Yeah, no. So I kind of feel like you got a Pepe. Either you're going to play him or you should let him go and try to get something for him monetarily, so that you can move on from him. Because it's a waste of a talent. There's talent there, and if you're not going to use it, you might as well get something for it. And every time he shows up and does what he did today, it works, right? And like Stan said, the movement, the subs today actually made more sense. You bring in Pepe because you're looking for a goal. You bring in Nketiah because you need a little bit more. You need some fresh legs up top, right? Because you're not getting that from Lacazette because he's pretty much all over the pitch at that point. And it works out for you because now you have a player sitting up the top, right? Actually putting some pressure on the back line and there for a lot of. I mean, that's how we get the goal. Lacazette's not going to be in that position to put the ball back to Pepe, right? We haven't seen that because he's never ahead of he's never up at the top of the pitch, right? He's never there. So, you bring in the Pepe and Nketiah changes actually made sense because you were chasing a goal, and it worked out perfectly. So
I actually think we'll see what happens in the summer. This is a good one. It's a slow burner. We'll see what happens with Pepe. I think he's going to get more games regardless because of Europe.
I don't think what we saw today is the reason why he should. I think he should have been the first one off the bench if we need a goal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and right now it's always been in
Teddy
Kenny until
Reddy.
today.
Has been,
So
yeah. Yeah.
so
Exactly.
since day one of the season, he should have been part of like, all right, we need to score Pepe. So either he starts or he's the first one off the bench. Done. Right? That's how it should have been for me, right?
For
Yeah.
me, whenever he's come onto the pitch, he has affected either goals or assists. He's been effective on the pitch. It's not. I don't think it's a waste of talent to have a player there in the squad ready to play on the bench. He's not going to play ahead of Saka, and he's probably not going to play ahead of Martinelli.
Yeah.
But when you don't have a Saka or Martinelli, he's a pretty useful player, you know. And hopefully next year we've got either Champions League or, at worst case, Europa League and the league.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like we're wasting him if we do that. So I'd rather us get another player in.
I don't care about the player. I care about the club.
I just don't think he's having him sit there idle and playing what you're talking about is a good way to go going forward.
Well, he'll get minutes next year with Europe as well.
He should be getting minutes last year. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Like
Who's
the
he
only
going to
reason
play ahead
he got
of?
minutes late in,
Who's he going to play
does he
ahead
not
of?
have the talent to play in this league?
Yes. Yes.
So
he
then
does.
why doesn't he get to play?
I agree with you. I wanted more minutes from him, but
So that's what I mean. So I think we're all on the same page. It's just he's not getting it, and if he's not going to get it here, he should get it elsewhere. He's worthy. I think he's worthy for either. If you're going to get rid of him, you get the money for him, and you move on.
Essentially, I just think we got so much to do in the summer that Pepe is going to be one of those players. He's all right. He's a squad player. We're not going to move him on, and we're not going to sell him. And
you don't know if he's okay being a squad player.
I don't see anything to the contrary again.
Nobody's seen anything. That's why I'm saying.
Right.
So
Tony,
we're all
I got you, Gary. Tony.
Pretty much all of us on here had him predicted for over 10 goals, 10 assists.
Yeah.
The guy hasn't played. Arteta's not done playing. He's not going to be happy sitting on the bench forever. If I'm him, I'm handing my transfer request in. First day of the season's over.
Steven said if Pepe was at Newcastle playing as their forward, he would smash it in their team. And I think by now Arsene Wenger would have probably converted him into a striker at this point in time. Yep, Steven, you'll love it. Yes, Steven.
Look at what he scored today. When's the last time you see somebody do that on our team?
Him last season. Yeah.
So he does things we can't
Saka,
do. So
Martinelli.
We don't tap that resource, right? We have a resource that can score goals and put the ball in the box, and we never use it because he doesn't play defense and all this other stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's the specificity of his position that doesn't like. I think Pepe will stay. Nobody can afford his wages. Really, I'll give it a try. Yeah, Peaky Blinders is a good shout. Check it out, Stephen.
It was his wages. It's like 140. I think somebody would match that or give him even a little bit more. I think it's 140 a week.
Yeah.
Well, we would want to recoup a decent chunk.
We're not going to get that money. We've already killed his value. We've killed his value. So you're not getting back any portion of the 70. You might get a portion of a 40, which is the real value, right? But you're not going to get.
I don't know what a decent chunk is, but it's a wide band. So we're good. We agree.
You've got 60 million euros. You've got 65 million euros in your pocket.
We're not going to get it all back.
Are you going to go? Are you looking at Pepe, or are you looking at Haaland's release clause? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's me. Tony, hope everything's okay there. Yeah, Tony had to lock the door again to the basement.
No, I had to leave my door open like I wanted it open.
Okay. Anyone else want to talk?
Is that someone at your door, Tony?
Yeah.
Oh, did one of those hitchhikers get out of the basement?
Maybe.
Okay. No more. Say no more about it.
Keep stum.
I've told you, mate.
All right, we'll see Lolo in a bit. Have fun. Have a good show, Lolo.
Yeah.
Get
after Mark, Lolo. Yeah, great piece of skill from Pepe. I mean, it struck me, Alonso, that not many players on our team could do something like that. The ball's behind him. He drags it with his right foot forward so that he can swing around on his left foot and lift it over the goalkeeper and in.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy for him because he hasn't been on he hasn't been playing as much this year, so it gave us a little boost and excitement. And like I said before, in the second half, I guess final 30 minutes, we're really pushing hard and throwing everything at him. And it's just one of those goals that we needed to have confidence in the team. And I think that it worked out to where Pepe was in great position. And yeah, it's good to see him contribute. And yeah, hopefully we'll see him again.
Stan, 1-1. Doesn't look like we're content with taking a draw. We're pushing to get that winner. And you're on mute.
Sorry, I got this cold and I keep coughing. So when it got to like 1-1, I was caught in two minds. I was thinking to myself, do we sort of like lick our wounds, look up shop, and just try and keep it safe and try and grab a point, or do we go for it? Do you know what I mean? I just couldn't decide what I would do. I really couldn't. I really couldn't decide because I thought if we go for it and leave ourselves open at the back, because our defense had looked a little bit shaky, and I thought Aaron Ramsdale wasn't having his best game. The last thing I wanted would be to happen to us what we did to them. In those last few minutes, they snatched that second goal, But again, I was wrong. We decided that we were going to go for it, and it all worked out. It all worked out. But at 1-1, I was a little bit nervy.
Yeah, Tony, there was a couple of instances where Neto has a miss as well. In the 85th minute, Erdegaard takes a shot that just touches the outside of the corner of the goal as well, Tony.
Yeah, both teams were trying to give a winner. We ended up getting it with Pepe's brilliant shot there. So it's nice to see both teams trying. It's a good game of football. Even though we shot the ball 26 times, we only had 5 on target.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I'd like to see Pepe given a chance in the middle because we're not clinical. That's been our problem.
Yeah.
Alonso talks about this build-up play. We're fine at that. We're fine at getting it to the goal, but we just can't get it through the fucking net. That's what needs to happen.
That shot that Saka took, I think it might have been the 93rd minute, and it was going in. It was going in, and he really forced a save from the keeper. At that point, that's when I thought to myself, that might have been our last chance there. That's when I really kind of like got a bit deflated, and I looked at the clock and I thought, that's your last chance there. That's it. Hold on now. But resilience.
Gotta play. We always keep talking about playing for 90 minutes, right? We played for 90 minutes, but we really played for the last 20, all the way through to through the tape, basically. So it was really good. It was really good.
Does that speak to the belief, maybe, Gary, that the team has now in itself and amongst each other? They believe in each other.
I don't know if I can take that from this one game because
because it's a block of games really, being in the trenches together. I thought the Brentford game was a lot like the Newcastle game. We huffed and puffed, and then there was a couple of moments of brilliance, won the game for us. If you remember back to that Newcastle game, Saka drifts to the left, and he gets in and shoots, and then Martinelli has the moment of brilliance as well, his first goal of the season, where he lifts it over the goalkeeper. On Sunday, we had Emile Smith-Rowe driving in, scoring, and then Saka sealing the victory, what would be the winning goal.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, but you said it right there, moments of brilliance, and that is good, but you can't live on that, right? You kind of live on what there's got to be a
most games come down to defining moments like that, though. Even Liverpool.
But when you look at a city, you know what's going to come at you and how they're going to score on you. It's not always a moment of brilliance that gets scored. No. You want to be consistent in that. You can't be consistent in a moment of brilliance every time. You want to be able to have a style of play, right? That you can lean on. right? So I don't. So you have players that can give you moments of brilliance, but you also want to have a standard of play, a style of play. For example, for this 70 minutes, our style of play should have gotten us at least a goal,
Yeah.
right? And then we have
You
players
think
that can give you that could probably close things out like we did today, where we scored the 2 goals. But for 70 minutes, we should have at least gotten 1 goal, right?
so?
At least.
Do you think then, based on that, Gary, that the framework of what you would call the style of play is being built there? What are we? We're a team who is very efficient at the back. We don't give much away usually at the back, and we are able to play out from the back, build the play up from the back, and from there you let the forwards take over and do something. Is that kind of who we are, right? What's
I
our
guess so.
identity right now?
I think that's what he wants. So yes. Yeah, I mean, we just don't have the clinical players right now. I mean, outside of, for me, Emil Rowe, everybody else is kind of you can't lean on them right now. They're not gonna be able to finish sometimes. We know Lacazette not too often. I mean, even today, the goal scored wasn't was more of a pass to Saka, right? It just happened to get touched by the goalkeeper and go in. But
Yeah.
it was a good pass, and we probably hopefully and Saka actually beat his man, so he probably would have just let the ball hit him in the chest and go in for an easy goal. I mean, he was there with enough time, so it would have been or it would have gone in by the defender coming in late. So either one, I
I'm
think
not
we would have had an opportunity to take that away. So
the way to score goals against Wolves. I was watching a Leicester game and they move the ball really quickly. So that's the only way you can really score consistently against Wolves. And we kind of did that in the last minutes. That goal was the ball was moved very quickly. Lacazette was fed through by Pepe. Pepe actually popped up with the assist for what would turn out to be an own goal. So Gunnar led. Sorry, we were hoping it was going to be a striker's goal. They took the goal away from him. You know, they took the goal away from Lacazette. But you know, as long as I'm going to say this will be controversial, right? As long as your striker is doing things to create chances, is he doing his job then? Against Wolves in the previous game, Lacazette makes that goal for Gabriel, and tonight he forces the winning goal. Is that enough from our striker for this season?
I think that's all we're going to get. So we're
Yeah.
going to have to deal. I don't think that's what we want. I mean, if there were like, here are the requirements for that position and the role that we want it to take, I don't believe that's what Arteta wants. I think that's just what we're going to get right now, and that's why when he doesn't score, it's like it's all right. That's all right. He doesn't score. So
Yeah, and as Tony said, he's not really a striker anymore. He's diving into midfield, doing bits and pieces. Stephen said it was good to see the players refusing to sell for a draw. They kept going and going. I'm pleased it's showing a good fighting mentality and team spirit. The young players are fearless. Did you guys see Arteta pointing at his clock to the Wolves bench after the goal? A little bit of shade back there, huh? Yeah, they say young players are fearless. Well, we have a team made up of youngsters, the youngest in the league, so they'll fight until the final whistle. Great scenes at the end, all of the players, because this is an emotional win, right? You go a goal down after 10 minutes, right to luck a little bit. You could have went 2-0 down, and you claw yourself back in late and actually win the game. So this is what I'm calling a Conte moment. And you know, after we get through the man of the match, we're going to have a little bit of a word about Conte and Tottenham, that team yesterday. So that was nice. Really, that's what they get for time wasting. Arteta reminded them. Tony rolled up C4 West Coast OG and Jelly Breath Keith. I don't know.
you're not giving Ray. There's certain things
I just can't, right?
you just shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't read. Like
You
giving
want me
a
to explain it to you,
he's
Ray?
like giving a tutorial over here on you know what, kids.
I'm gonna say jelly breath. I'm actually about to start.
Am I
eating
going to
jelly
learn
right
something?
now.
Will I learn something if you explain it to me?
I don't think that's where you. I don't think you're that.
Stan,
type of
you want to
guy.
explain it to him?
I don't know what I just read jelly breath, and I'm like, that's weird. I'm just opening some jelly to eat right now. I'm like, what?
Tony,
Tell us more. He's talking about the strain of weed he's rolling up, and keef is like the little crystals that break off when you grind it. Then you put that on there, and it's a lot stronger because it's more concentrated THC. There's your weed lesson of the day, folks.
Gary, you should have told me to swerve that one. You
I
should
would.
have told me.
I tried.
He did tell you to.
Can't tell you,
I didn't think you were. I thought once you saw it rolled up, you would have
No.
like said, "Oh," and
I
moved
just
on.
thought it was like, hey, I rolled up to C4 on the West Coast. You know, drove.
Okay, you've been missing the whole conversation in the chat room. Then
It's it's not easy to keep control of everything, Gary. You know
no,
what it's like.
BX is giving us a tutorial today. So
Steven
Hello,
says, I believe these players can achieve greatness if we get the right additions in the summer and our team goes up levels. We're 2 midfielders, 2 strikers away from having a very good team, challenging. I think next season, whatever type of Europe we get, we're going to have to bring players in. We're going to have to use some academy players. We're going to have to bring some at least one loan player back. We all know who it is. So, Gary, an emotional win?
yes, yeah, no, we
Which should carry the
after
team
we gave
forward.
up that goal and the way the first 70 minutes went, you got to feel like, damn. Well, we still have games in hand. That's kind of what I was thinking. We still got games in hand, and then we scored the goal, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go get the other one. You know, once you got that first goal, you had nothing else to lose. You were losing to begin with, so you got the second goal, and like I said, the subs, got the first goal, and guess what? Boom. Yeah. So no, I kind of felt like. And this is what I'm talking about sometimes when I say, like, you had that opportunity, you took it, and then you ran with it, right? We got the opportunity, we tied the match up, and then boom, we went and tried to get the second goal. We did everything we could to get that second goal, and we got it. That Saka shot not going in, you're like, damn. And like less than a minute after that, we score the winning goal.
That Saka shot was palmed out by the goalkeeper. It goes to the right side. Pepe picks it up in that corner. And the goal is worked from there.
And you know what? Yeah, and you see the Pepe with the ball at his feet. We don't have too many players can do stuff like that.
Yep.
No,
definitely. I you know me. I love the player. I would love him to be integrated more. Saka is funny because you have to keep playing him because he gives you something most weeks.
Well, that's Pepe as well. If Pepe plays, he always gives you something. If he play, sometimes he'll play for 90. Like today, Saka gave us not much until that last 20, 30 minutes of the game, all right? But he will give you something, all right? Same thing with Pepe. So you never know when it's going to come.
All right, so I didn't see the game, so I don't get a vote on the Tony Don Juan man in the match. So Stan, Alonso, Gary, and Tony take it away.
Your vote doesn't matter anyway. I decided anyway.
What the fuck?
Well, then, Alonso, you start us off, and when Stan comes back and Gary can, and then Tony will tell all of them they're wrong.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he probably will, especially if they're my man of match. So, here's a guy that I think had a very good game today. Like Stan has said that he doesn't get enough shout, and most things he doesn't do great. But I think Granit Xhaka played a heck today. Anytime he doesn't get carded or anytime he doesn't, foul anyone, it's a good day. So 3-1. I think Granit Xhaka gets my man of the match today.
You picked him last week.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. You picked him Sunday.
What?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember too much. But are you done? Alonso?
Yeah.
All right. Stan, your turn.
So you're talking about our man of the match?
Correct, sir.
Yep. For me, I would say Martin Odegaard. I thought he was in the thick of it today. He helps make us tick, and I really hate to bring up his name, but I just have to make a comparison to Mesut Ozil. For me, he does everything that I wanted Mesut Ozil to do. And what I mean by that is, even if he's not having a particularly good game, and things may not always be coming off for him, what does he do? He doesn't just call it a day and think, oh, that's it for this game. I'll try again in the next game and maybe it'll work out for me. He keeps trying. You know, he tracks back. He's in there putting his foot in. He makes things happen. He's got a trick or two. And as I say, I hate to make the comparison, but he just does everything in that position that I really wanted Mesut Ozil to do. So for me, he's my man of the match for today.
Yeah, and my man of the match, and I'll start with those that I know have got a lot of credit today. Xhaka definitely played well today. I felt, for me, even though for me they had a quiet day, Erdegaard and Partey had a really, and I say quiet in the good sense that I didn't notice anything negative from them today, and it just seemed like everything flowed fine. No, it was great. They kept things moving, and I didn't feel like they were holding us back or anything like that. And that's what I like to see sometimes from them. When I don't have to say their name, it's good in this sense. But for me, my man of the match is Lacazette. Kind of felt like doesn't give us any. Keep him out of the box, most days, and everything else that he did today, he got us going, and I think that's what we needed. I mean, I know many have said for 90 minutes it was Erdegaard doing things, but I feel like Lacazette for 90 minutes today was basically showing the leadership that we needed. He played everywhere on the pitch. He was rounding up the crowd early. He was trying to get the crowd going. And you saw a lot of players feed on that. And next thing you know, all the players are trying to get the fans involved. And I feel like that's the leadership that we're missing, or that we've missed, and we've got it now. And it's one of those things where I just don't look at the goals scored, but everything else he does for the team, especially today, is the reason why things happen. And you know what? We got some fresh legs in there, and that helped spark us. And we saw what we did there, and he was able to be part of that as well. But he did everything today for me, so I'm giving it to Lacazette. Yeah.
I want to mention something real quick. In your guys' opinion, do you think that Lacazette brings out the best leadership qualities in everyone?
Yes, I don't think he hinders anyone. I don't think he has any issues from what we can see with anyone in the squad. I think he's inclusive, and he's part of everybody gravitates to him, I believe.
Because I tell you something that I noticed about the team, and particularly Granit Xhaka. Now, today I saw something that kind of got me a little bit, was when you saw Conte go down, and obviously he had leg cramps, and you see Granit Xhaka help turning out the pitch. That right there shows a lot of togetherness amongst the team.
Yeah.
And sure, Granit Xhaka has a pass. We all know that. But I think whenever you have a player like Lacazette who's willing to take the captain's armband, and also Granit Xhaka realizing that he's no longer the captain like he was once given to, right? And you see Tierney being that kind of captain in the next line, being captain. But you also see Granit Xhaka being a leader, or not necessarily a captain, but it's going to be good to see them pick each other up and or down, kind of thing,
Yeah, and look, Granit Xhaka and Tierney had that incident over at Alioski last season. So I always thought there was a little bit of animosity between them, but I don't actually see it in their interactions winning games on the field. Steven said, but the players Arteta brings in are to fit his system, so they will be suited to what he wants.
That's why I believe that he has to replace all of them, because if they don't fit his system, then they're not worth his time, and he shows it every day.
Yeah. People miss what Laka brings to the game. He links the forwards to the midfield. He is a connector, and he allows Erdegaard, Saka, and Emil Smith Rowe the freedom to play. So, did everyone get around on the man of the match? And did Tony?
No, we haven't got to Tony yet. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that happened
I haven't
in
got
this
to the
game,
decider in chief yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one thing this game definitely showed is that the further away you push Zaka from our goal that we need to protect, I think the better he
better.
is. Because he actually played really well, but he was up
I
top
don't know.
there, right behind the front, right behind
I'm
the
not sure
forwards.
what you and Alonso and Stan are doing during the games there.
Maybe you didn't watch the game, that's all right, Tony. Maybe things were a little smoky where
It
you were.
seems like you're at number 3-1, though,
No,
Tony. So
But
anybody.
Tony,
I'll tell you that Xhaka actually played pretty well
he
today.
didn't get carded today. Nowhere near being
Not the
carded.
carding. Come
So that's
on,
a good day.
that's
That's good.
belittling.
not-
That's like belittling how he played today.
I'm going to
I
tell
know,
you,
right?
I was thinking about this. I think we've used up all of our red cards for the season. I think we've used up all of our VARs going against us. So I think it's going to be
Come on, Ray. Let's hear your man of the match.
next 14 games. Martin Atkinson is my man in the match. He didn't give us a red card.
What?
The
God.
next 14
Come-
games
that
will
is-
have
no.
no red
That doesn't
cards.
count.
No, exactly. That's
It
not it.
don't
What?
count.
Don't you dare do that. Don't waste our time. Tell us who
I've
the
got
man of the
I've got to give it to Pepe because he scored a goal and he assisted a goal. So, Pepe turned the game. I didn't watch the game the whole way through, or I didn't see it live, so I can't say he turned it on his head, but it looks like he certainly made an impact, and that's an emotional win for us. So now I think it's time. Are you going to give us the man of the match, Tony, and then we can talk a little bit about Antonio Conte?
I'll give you the man of the match, but I'll talk about the whole thing first. Gary's gets the concept of a Don Juan of a match. It's not the best player. It's who puts in the best shift, does the best work. That's why I gave it to two players on Sunday because I thought they both did equally good. It was Odegaard and Lacazette. Today, Gary said Lacazette. I thought Lacazette did good, but I thought Odegaard did better. So for me, he would get the man of the match. But to me, I don't see how anybody can say Zaka had a good game because you got Odegaard dropping back again, linking up the play. You got Lacazette coming out after the. When the guy's absent, when you're bypassing the guy, he's not having a great game. I see him rating for him today as 5. I seen another one have him as 6. He's still bang fucking average. You're bypassing a guy. He's not having good games. He's just not fucking up getting a red card.
You always know when Tony's going to start because his hands go a bit like this.
No, I
I
mean
start
you
speaking
can
with
say
my
that
hands.
about a lot of about a lot of players because we were bypassing the whole midfield for a large portion
It's
of
because
that game.
Partey and Zaka aren't good enough for us. It's in the story.
Yeah.
But when they got the ball,
Move
it was when they got the ball in the midfield, they were good. So
Our midfield is deficient. Move on. Gary, we know
The
this.
team, Steven said the team unity and spirit hasn't been this good for a long time, and they're all playing well. They all enjoy playing for the club. There's no Mr. Big Show. They all have a good mentality.
Yep, and it's all happened since the captaincy change.
People crab Lacazette, but he's not going to be easy player to replace because he brings a lot to the table. He might not score, but he makes everyone else better, brings them into the game, and that's the profile. That's at least one of the profiles of strikers we have to look at that has a similar
it's
skill
not
set.
actually striker; it's more leader. I mean, because we said the same thing when Ramsey left, right? When he left, he showed us, kind of what he was good for, and Lacazette is showing us, basically for me, part professionalism, part leadership, and basically, okay, if you're not going to do it, I'll do it, and that's what we've seen. So, yeah.
Listen, I think somebody called this a Welsh town, but I like a lot of W's and a lot of D's in my Welsh town. I don't like too many L's, but just looking there, it's been 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. One loss in 9 games. If you take all those W's with 1 L and 1 draw, the loss to City actually didn't feel like a loss at the time as well. So we're getting close to that 26 game mark that Stan was talking about for part 2, Stan. And here's the markers I set down for 20. We're 2 games away from 26, and 45 points was the marker I was hoping to hit. Well, we've hit that with 2 games to spare, and we want to do better than this. But that's not bad. So far, so good.
We want top 4, Ray.
We said that we would be looking at the progress of Mikel Arteta around about now, didn't we, Ray?
Yeah.
We've kind of been on a similar timeline, and I'd have to say that if we're going to sit down and start like marking his test, he's done very well. I'm more than happy.
This leads us up perfectly, I guess, to the contract. I wasn't going to bring this up, but
Ah,
are you? You don't want to go there, Tony?
the season's not over. You base it based on
Yeah.
the season.
We can spend a minute or two. I'm not in favor of giving him a contract till the end of the season.
Agreed.
That's all. Okay, Tony
Totally
agrees.
agreed.
Stan, what do you think, Stan?
Yeah, it's not the season's not finished yet. We haven't reached our goals yet. If you reach your goals, then you get rewarded. If you don't reach the goals, then maybe it's a different
But
conversation.
we don't know our goals this season. We knew what they were last year.
Yeah, the goal. Well, I think that the goal is maybe Edu doesn't know what the goal is, but I'm sure everybody else thinks that it has to be a minimum of the Europa League proper, not that Tim Pot thing that's below it. Minimum has to be the Europa League, and for me, as much as I'm happy with where we are now, if we don't get back into Europe next season, I think I would be calling for a change.
And I see that as well. But 24 games in, we got 14 left. And if we were to finish 6th now, I would feel a little bit deflated with 6th place. So,
and that's actually a good thing because that shows that we have some ambition.
Tightened a little bit for me.
Well, it shows that we have ambition. That we got 6th. We're not happy about it. We'll take it, but we're not happy about it. We had opportunities to do better, and that's where we are right now. We know top 4 is in our grasp. We have a lot of control over whether we get that. We don't have to depend like in the past that other teams would drop points. It's all on us, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can take top 4 from us right now unless we drop the ball and start dropping points. Right? We've got games in hand and we're 1 point away. So it's basically here you go. If you want it,
we did just school Wolves. I have to tell you, we did just school Wolves, but I don't know who I'm saying it to.
You saw that then, did you?
Yeah, but I don't know who I'm saying it to. Barry or somebody else?
No, I was talking to Tony. Right, he was saying that he said in our private chat that his roommate was telling him that he was being too loud, and I just told him to tell him we just schooled Wolves and to wind his neck in.
Yeah.
Wind his neck in.
Tony.
I don't think his roommate's gonna know what you're talking about.
Tony, is it your gaff? Is it your gaff that he's in? Is it your ass?
Yep. My house.
Mate, just put him in the basement, man, and take him down a bowl of water later.
Hey, Stan, Tony should give him the old Stone Cold Stunner.
Say again?
He should give him an old Stone Cold Stunner.
Exactly. It's your gaff, mate. You know what I mean? Now you have
Stan sends me this message, and I'm thinking, I gotta say this to Gary. Tell him to wind his neck in. Like, what's
no.
I'm more of a Tombstone mood right now.
Yeah. So listen, we're doing well.
Get him while he's sleeping.
Dare I say it? The end of February, we are finished with February, and
if I get him when I'm sleeping, I'd bring out Sacco.
We're on course for top 4.
No Cactus Jack or Mankind.
March, April, and May. We got 3 more months to go in this season. And
what Mankind move would I do, or Cactus Jack, however you want to call him, Stan?
Mr. Sacco.
I don't know. I was just thinking you could do a CM Punk on him. And give
Darren's in the house. How you doing, Darren?
Hit that like button, Darren, if you're happy that
Darren?
Arsenal have beaten.
Welcome back, Darren.
I've seen Darren for a while.
Once again, I want to say thank you. Hello to everybody in the chat. So if you're joining or if you just joined, welcome.
Darren.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my point system, we've achieved the 26 game mark.
Darren's been busy with a Tottenham fan. Don't know if we can condone that or not.
Tell Darren, tell your partner we want 5
We're
more
just
years
gonna
of
get
Conte.
to. Sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
Don't free Conte. We want him to stay. So he's doing a good
And
job.
we were just going to get to the context section. So, of course, the first thing Arsenal want is to win their game, but then we have time.
Gary, did you still raise Menudo notebook? That's the second time you knew what he was coming up to next.
He already told us what it was, Tony.
I wasn't fucking paying attention. I was talking about
Exactly. Yeah.
I was talking about wrestling moves.
Exactly.
Yeah, Darren, you might want to cover your partner's ears because we're going to talk about Antonio Conte. Stan, you kind of mentioned this, so I'll give you the gaffle.
Well, I mean, where do you start with what we saw yesterday? I mean, the first thing I want to do is I just want to read out this quote from Antonio Conte. I mean, there's 2 interviews you can watch, right? And I've watched them both, like several times. I woke up in the middle of the night to go for a pee. Before I went back to sleep, I put it on again on quiet and watched one of them again and had a chuckle. I was watching one of them, right, again in the lounge, right? And my missus walked in. She listened to a bit of it and she just said to me, "This guy sounds like a bit of a crybaby." This is one of the things that he said. I need to talk to the club. Tottenham have to make an assessment about the club, about me. We need to find the best solution. I can't accept to keep losing. I'm sorry. Here coaches change, but players are always the same. But results don't change. Now, I've heard of throwing people on the bus, right? But he's not just throwing them under the bus. He stuck it in reverse and gone back over them again. Do you know what I mean? This is like, I'll tell you what I'm hearing.
He's backed it up, then he's went forward and backed it up again.
He's like, I tell you what I'm hearing. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at everything that he said when you listen to it, and he's basically said like, this is an absolute fucking shit show here. I mean, I thought I was going to come in and try and help you, but I can't fucking help this lot. No.
They're beyond help. I can't help these players. And no better place than up at Burnley stand with a wind swept, the wind blowing his hair, the wet winds blowing his hair.
It was just like a stone's throw ago when they beat Man City that he was saying, "I love it here. I come into training with a smile on my face." We weren't smiling yesterday, was he?
Nope. Second time this season they beat City and they're still a fucking shit show.
Conte reminds me of someone trapped in the wrong job and is totally jacked.
It's one of those things where you're like, can you blink if you want me to rescue you?
Daniel Levy, are you watching? Daniel Levy.
He never wanted to go there in the first place. He said no. Everybody knows that he was hanging out for the Man United job, And I think that someone's had a word in his shell and had a whisper with him, and he thinks that maybe he's going to try and get it second time around. Because if you listen to what he's saying it to me that he was saying, like, let's just call it quits or whatever Tottenham want to do. He sounded like he was saying, I earn a lot of money here. He said, I can close my eyes. I earn a lot of money here, but I'm a realist. So he's basically saying, like, I don't even want a severance fucking package. I just want out. I just want to have it away on my toes. Get me an Uber. We'll call it quits. I'll even pay for the Uber. He turns like he just does not want to be there anymore. So who's going to go there now, right? They've had Jose Mourinho in there, right? No matter what you think of him, the guy is a proven winner. No matter what you think of him, right? Everyone said that he would go in there and shake it up. They reached their final, and before they kicked the ball, they got rid of him. So then they brought in Nuno because they couldn't get anyone else. Even my nan had phone calls. As we all know, it's been well documented. Even my nan said no. They went back. What did they do? They brought in Nuno. And I said when he got appointed, that's not going to work because his style of play, it's not really going to suit the way that they want to go. And lo and behold, it didn't happen. So then they went out and they got Conte. And there were a lot of Arsenal fans that were like, that's the guy that we should have had. But Antonio Conte has shown you that he doesn't have the appetite to build a team. He doesn't have an appetite to trust a process. He wants it all laid on. He's one of them. It needs to be all laid on. So he would have probably left Arsenal ages ago because we've been through some tough times with Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
And I really think that I'm beginning to see everything coming together, not just as a team, but as a fan base. There seems to be chinks of unity. I know there's a few people out there still that are just waiting for
I
us
like
to stick
that.
in a banana
Chinks.
skin so they can pop out of the woodwork and go, yeah, we've got to get rid of this Muppet. But I can start to see it. Antonio Conte, it's what a laughing stock, and you love to see it. And the good thing about this is, with the next fixtures that we've got coming up, you've got to think that we're going to be able to get the right result at Watford, right? This is our next fixture. You've got to think there's 3 points on the table there. Who's after that? Is it Chelsea after that or Leicester? Leicester's a bit of a tricky one because they blow hot and cold.
3 in 6 days there are Leicester, Liverpool, Villa.
Leicester blow hot and cold. We could absolutely stuff them, or they could really turn it on. It's a hard one to call. Liverpool, well, I wouldn't put money on us beating Liverpool. I wouldn't be that stupid because look at the amount of goals that they're doing. But then you've got to look at Tottenham. For me, that's 3 points. They're not getting better anytime soon. The players have just been slagged off by Antonio Conte. Harry Kane was thinking that he was almost out the door and he decided to stay again. They're not getting better anytime soon. So I think that we're looking at 4 points.
Yeah. Harry Kane auditioning for the City job at the Etihad comes alive, and those players. So what Conte's saying, Gary, is that it's not me, it's the players.
You know what? This is I heard a discussion earlier today about United, and same thing. You look at the managers that have come through there lately. They've all been solid managers, not poor, not like oh well, just settle. These are decent managers that they've been able to get in the door. And time again, you see the same thing from the squad, from the results, and you're like, is it the manager, or is it the players? Like, at some point, you're going to have to go, you know what? Maybe they should have sold Harry Kane and started new with Nuno, because at least we saw a style of play from Wolves that was, I kind of feel like Bruno is just building on right now, and they have a solid team. Right, he left that team to go to that. He left Wolves to go to that team, which has better plays on it, and he couldn't get a tune out of them. So maybe it's the players. And like you said, you've got Harry Kane out the door. You know what? Let the door close on him as he walks out.
Was that a robot?
You remember the first? You guys remember that video of Son coming in? First day
Monday morning.
Monday morning coming in. With like the face, and you're like, I think we might be able to steal him. He looks like he's done with this place. And once again, they're 2 stars. At some point, maybe they should sell them and then rebuild. Right?
Yeah,
rebuild. Right? And you kind of see that to some degree with Arsenal, except for Arsenal's paying people to leave. That team could sell their 2 top players and start anew, and not basic. And nobody would probably look at it and go, you know what, that was some bad business, because that's the only thing they got going for them right now, and they can't utilize them anyway. So why not sell them at a prime value price right now? As opposed to now, what they're going to go through is a manager who doesn't want to be there, and that's just now you just you know what, couldn't have happened to a better squad, a better club. So, we laugh, but in reality, Harry Kane should have been gone. He should have been wearing whatever powder puff blue it is. Whatever City wears, and let him go. I mean, City's got tons of money. I mean, they got, they spent 100 on, what's his name?
Grealish.
And he doesn't even, they don't even need him. Like, even when he comes on, it's like, oh, okay. But he doesn't give them anything.
At least his shorts are very tight, very tight.
But it'd be scary if they had Harry Kane, because you're like, damn, right? Now they have a striker who, we're going to get the ball to him in really good positions, or at the least he's going to make Sterling and Foden look really good, So it's crazy what could have happened, but you know what? We're happy with it the way they are, and
Alonso's bitches on the phone.
Yeah, I think Conte. Everybody said Conte won. Yeah, everybody said Conte
Which is
wants what he
Silence
wants.
your phone, Alonso. Silence your phone. We're professionals around here.
Yeah. Everybody said Conte wants what he wants, and when he doesn't get it, then he's gone.
Yeah.
All right, and we're seeing it right now. And
Don Juan.
it's almost like you go to that team when you're ready for your career to die.
Well, like, it's like the elephant's
Elephant
graveyard.
graveyard.
It's-
Elephant graveyard.
It's elephant's
You know,
graveyard.
and every once in a while, the elephant gets up and runs off like Poch. But
Tottenham
I mean,
are
he
breaking
doesn't. He's
teams
not
down.
doing it. Think about it. He got a gold mine where he went, and he still can't get the gold out of it, man. Right?
or Gary, you become a player at Spurs, then go off to Arsenal, become a legend.
Yeah, you could do that.
Like so Campbell.
But who are they gonna get in now? But a question to you guys, because I mean I never used to watch his press conferences in Italy when he was out there. It seems a bit bipolar to be 1 minute saying I love it here, I smile when I come into training, to basically looking like you've just been dragged backwards for a hedge and going like, I just want to get out of here. How do you go from one to the other? Is that just his way? When things are going good, everything's like the land of milk and honey, and when things are going bad, it's like I'm you all shit.
Isn't that what they
You know
call?
what?
Isn't that what they call Spursy? Isn't that what that is? Isn't that what it looks like?
Holy shit.
It is what it looks like, isn't it?
I'll throw a couple of names at you. I think you're saying who would take the job next. Graham
Fat
Potter.
Sam,
Graham Potter.
Sam Allardyce, isn't it, or Alan Pudgew?
Do you think Graham Potter would take that job? Do you think Brendan Rodgers would take the job?
They won't do what's required, and what's required is to get rid of their two top players. If they got rid of their two top players, they're talking what, almost 200 million to play with. Without even spending the money that they probably would have spent on transfers to begin with.
Yeah, and the rest of the team is just not good enough as well.
But you have more money now to build it up.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So about Graham Potter, right? He's done a great job with Brighton, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that Graham Potter is quite happy there. And he doesn't want to be at a club that is going to ruin his coaching career. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean,
on paper, it sounds like a bigger move, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to a London club, and they got that big stadium, like, and all that. They got their cheese lounge in there and all that shit. But I mean, it's just all smoke and mirrors, right?
And then you go to the bathroom and you look at the stadium. And you go, wait a second. I've seen
Rollerball.
Something looks familiar.
Rollerball. Really, this is not the same Tottenham side that has that record. It also not the same Arsenal. We're also not the same Arsenal side.
But look at the pain that we've gone through to get here. I mean, this hasn't just started with this has not started with Mikel Arteta. Yeah. This started, you know, well back when Arsene Wenger was still our manager. You know, you could even say
5 years
that we've been going through this since we moved to the Emirates. Yeah. Is that fair to say? That, you know, we've had some FA Cups down the way, and they've been beautiful. It takes a while, you know. We've gone through so much, moving to the stadium, Wenger coming to the end and losing his powers, trying to find the right person. It takes time. Now I've got a feeling that Tottenham are going to go through that as well. So that's great. I've got a feeling that St. Tottering's Day could be on the agenda, lads. Mark your calendar.
And I was going to say Hassan Hüttl as well. A couple of players, the South Coast. St. Tottering's Day could be on the agenda. You're dead right there.
I like to celebrate that like weeks before the end of the season.
Can we do that in April? Please? If Graham Potter managed to sign a good striker, his team would bang. Brighton would be in Europe if they had a goal scorer.
Can I just say, as we're talking about people being in disarray, this could be really working in our favour because the Tottenham game isn't that far away, and I don't see them being.
Well, we don't know when it is. It could be right at the end of the season as well, Stan.
I don't think that their pain's going to end soon. But also the other team that's kind of in and around us, which could be a bit of a problem, is Man United. And they're far from settled there as well. You know, they've got a lot of good players on that team. And, you know, maybe on paper, they've probably got some players that maybe on paper would outdo us, but they're having mega. We need to take advantage of it.
Definitely. Look around the league. We've got West Ham who are retiring. We've got games in hand on them. And, we're almost at 70% towards the target of 66. I think we want a little more than 66, though. That'd be great. Could we hit 66 early May? That'd be great as well. Okay, we're going to get quickly into the upsets. We're going to talk about Premier League for a few minutes before we get out of here. Tony must have really needed the luck. I didn't even notice he disappeared. He's gone. So hopefully he can come back. Okay.
About a week from now, you'll be like, no, I never saw Tony's flatmate again. He just disappeared that day. No, we don't know what happened.
And Tony's like, I've been eating a lot of steak and ribs.
Okay. He did put on some lumber, isn't that what he said, Stan? He's put on some lumber.
Anyone want to come around for barbecue? No, you're right, mate.
You are what you eat. You are what you eat. Okay, tomorrow, Stan, Southampton at home to Norwich. And you don't have to pick your upsets. We'll just talk about it.
I think Southampton at home to Norwich. I think I'm happy to see. I think Southampton will get everything that they want from that one.
Yeah,
3 points to Southampton for me. I think
Southampton are really, really good at home, Alonso, and Norwich. Dean Smith hasn't really got a tune out of the Norwich team.
Yeah, I think Southampton got a good team. I think that they've proven that they want to stay up in the Premier League. I think it was quite a difference. It was 2 years ago that they were threatening to bow out the Premier League, but now I think their coach has done a good job with them. They got a good team. They're in the middle of the pack, and they're going to get promoted again, or they'll be promoted again this year, or stay in the league, I guess. So Norwich is Norwich, right? They go in and out the league every so often. So Southampton for the win, I guess.
Southampton are a strong team, Gary. You got Armando Broja stepping forward now with Che Adams, and they pulled off a shock against United earlier a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Southampton at home, like you said, Borja is playing really well. Norwich will continue to sit at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, one of those teams that's perennial up and downers. Don Juan, Man United worry me more than Tottenham. They've been shite all season, but still in the top 4 race. I do think it's a straight fight between us. And
United has a squad of players that on their day can get something out of a match, no matter what. Right? I mean, they don't just have 2 players that you fear, right?
It depends on them having their day, and their day that could be an inconsistency that may count against them as well. Stan, Leeds United at home to Tottenham. We're all Leeds fans this weekend. Leeds at home to Spurs, and you're on mute.
We are Leeds fans, and if Mr. Tom is still with us in the chat, he might want to close his ears for this one, because Leeds are having problems, aren't they? Big time. Yeah. I think they've got a lot of injuries. They're really struggling. Their defense seems to be all over the place. I mean, Bielsa looks to be having real problems. The only benefit that they've got to their favour is that they're going to be going up a team who we've just discussed are in disarray and have no confidence, because they probably feel that their manager has no confidence in them. So it's going to a hard one to call. I'm going to be conservative and say maybe a draw.
Leeds playing at home might help them as well.
Yeah.
Come on, Leeds. And Bielsa's, I got a feel they're going to be playing for Bielsa.
Jack Duckworth. He reminds me of Jack Duckworth of Coronation Street. All right there, Vera. You English guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and even the ones from Ireland know that as well. Alonso, Leeds at home to Tottenham. We're all Leeds. We're all Leeds, and but they've been shipping 6 goals against Liverpool midweek.
Mm. Is Kevin Phillips still hurt? Does anyone know?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
So, yeah.
if Tony was here, he'd be. This is who that gives the shit game of the week.
So I just.
So who gives a fuck game of the week?
Yeah, Alonso.
I just hope that Leeds will smash him in and give him a new one. I think it'd be like 1-0 to Leeds. They got injuries to key players, so but as an Arsenal fan, I just hope that they destroy Spurs for us. It'd be nice.
Yeah, how nice would it be, Gary? A 2-1 win for Leeds.
Yeah, I want Mr. Tom to be happy. He deserves happiness, just like we do, and it'd be really happy for all of us if we just we see, unless that team is really strong, like as a squad, and are really together, like you want your squad to be, and they can listen to that interview and go, that's just Conte being Conte kind of thing. That's my upset pick is Leeds. They're gonna get something out of that match. They're home.
Are you sure?
They just got embarrassed.
Okay.
And
you don't want to think about it like Tony.
I looked at
you who the fuck I picked, Ray.
I looked at the other matches, and that's one I want to go with. I know it sounds crazy, and I picked whatever my last pick was sounded crazy too. I think that was Burnley, right? So there you go. So it would be. We want to see this meltdown, don't we? Don't we deserve this meltdown?
Oh, Antonio Conte. Yeah.
We deserve to see it.
I don't know what to do with these players.
Now think about it. As a player, if your manager's out there talking like this, come tomorrow when you go to practice or whenever the next day was, how do you look at him? How do you look at him? I mean, the way that he spoke, that should have been an easy, you know what? I think your time here is done. It's time to go. We've heard that saying before. It's time to go.
It's time to go.
I think it's time to go. What's the point of keeping him around? He already this is Nketiah saying, you know what? I don't want to take your deal, but I don't want to go. No, you gotta go.
Okay.
You gotta go. And this is the same thing.
You think the manager that loses this game is going to get fired?
Not the Leeds manager. I don't think.
Will Conte even be in charge for that game? It sounds like he ain't going to be in charge of the next one.
That's why I think that's why I'm going with it anyways. Because I don't. The man is screaming for help. Relieve him of his pain.
The guy who catches him, when he jumps up into his arm, the guy who catches him, he should take charge this weekend.
The
guy who runs and jumps into his arms.
But think about it. I mean, what more does he have to do to say, "Get out, let me out, please"?
I can imagine.
I am happy here. Let me go, please. Fire me,
Tony.
I wanted to answer Stan's question.
Did you hear what he said though as well? Conte said, I mean, I'm working 20 hours a day and sleeping 4, and it is still not enough. Brilliant. There's so many sound bites.
I want to go.
Tottenham are the gift that keeps on giving. I think Don Juan said that. Tony.
I may or not have went through 5 bags of lies, Sam.
Lime. Yeah.
Lie. Not lime. Lie.
I heard lime.
Lie. Bags of lie.
Is that the same thing as lime?
No.
Lime, mate. Lime.
You know what? They're gonna have this thing up on the top of the screen, the Conte watch.
The history of the top.
It's gonna be just blinking, like, because you want to see what's gonna happen. It should be.
Watch.
You know what? Amazon. I think Amazon
Did
is
Amazon
going. You know
pick
what?
the wrong team this year?
Yeah, the Amazon people are like, damn it, we're in the wrong London squad.
Oh, it's been pretty
Well,
interesting.
are
This
you
this
seriously
season.
taking leads in this game for
Yeah.
your upset?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I'm taking
Okay.
them.
All right.
That way I don't have to think about it anymore.
All right. Tony, start us off with Brentford versus Newcastle.
Newcastle.
All right. Yeah, Brentford are falling like a stone. I think they're going to be one of the teams that get relegated. They are in 15th or 14th place right now. I think they're going to drop right down into the relegation zone. Stan, Brentford at home to Newcastle.
Newcastle all the way. They're coming back on the ascendancy. Come on, you ain't going to get me to start talking bad about my great granddaddy. Newcastle next.
Next, Alonso, Newcastle, the giant, the biggest club in the world, Newcastle versus Brentford.
You know what? I'm going for a limb here. I'm thinking Brentford will win this game because how funny will it be if Newcastle get relegated at the
It would be nice.
by all those players and get relegated? But like Steven has said, I think this is going to be like more of a draw.
A draw, right?
Yeah.
And I thought Tony was the innocent type, says Darren. It's always the quiet ones, Darren. Well, he's not quiet, is he, Gary?
No.
What have you got?
Yeah, no, I'm looking. I don't think Newcastle's that bad. I never thought they were that bad, even before all of this. Not all of this stuff with the money coming in and all of that. They had some decent players there, so yeah, I think Newcastle is it. It's where's Newcastle? It's yeah. It's I want to say Newcastle.
All right, Newcastle.
They haven't lost. They haven't lost in 5 goes now. So
yeah. Neighbor's been complaining about Tony running his wood chipper.
there's a barbecue on the block. There's a house. There's a block party this week. You're gonna have ribs. You have steak. Got a lot of ground beef. So you have ground beef burgers.
This meat tastes just like apple cider.
Yeah.
Get tough in it, Tony.
Tony.
I have built outside a fire pit that's 8 by 4 foot. So
there you go.
Telling the sheriff about the strange lights and sounds coming out of the barn over at Tony's ranch late at night.
That's a weird leg of lamb. What's
Conte,
going on with that?
it's 8 foot long. Conte, after he leaves Spurs with the face of mental health, mental well-being. 3-1. Gary, start us off with Palace at home to Burnley. Palace at home to Burnley.
Yes, this is another one. This is another one of those. You know what? Newcastle and Crystal Palace to me are similar teams. They have really they play really well. They may not have the squad.
Ray, did you put up my last comment?
Nobody's putting up your comments because why are they putting up your comments?
Newcastle are going to sign Gibbs from the MLS, and he's going to score.
Oh, there we go. Hey, we have not. You know what? It's been a while, Lonzo. We need a Gibbs moment before this show's out. So think of it now. We haven't had one in like months.
Yeah, it's going to come around to you, Alonzo. So you
Wait, not yet. Hold on to it. Hold on to that thought.
Patrick Vieira is doing a decent job.
I think Crystal Palace will win this. They will look better than us against Burnley. Let's just say that. I think
Burnley 2 wins on the spin right now and 1 loss in 5. 2 wins, 2 draws. Tony isn't denied. That's worrying.
Steven's last comment's the best one.
Listen, Tom, we said some complimentary things about Leeds. We think that they're going to beat Tottenham.
Tony's like it puts the lotion on its skin. Tony's got a suit or a dress in the closet over there. I know it.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Oh, this show has got everywhere.
Stevens, get
Seriously, you can't
this.
see this, right? I'm fucking crying here.
I can
Fucking
hear-
crying, mate.
I can hear your voice as well. Tony's been taking a lot of homemade sausages to the farmers market. They do say
These are
intestines.
pretty good. Where did you get these from?
do
Around
say-
the way, around the way.
They say you can get a lot of intestines. You can get like 40 yards of intestines. Did you know half by half equals a quarter? Yes. But I don't know.
Mr. Tom, you'll be happy. You'll be
Comrade
happy.
Tonsky
You'll be happy
defected
this
to the
weekend.
Ukraine and
We are all Ukraine. We play. We stand for Ukraine always. Tony, which one is your who gives a fuck game of the week, Tony? I was Leeds Tottenham, right?
no, because the Tottenham's not far enough down on the table.
Okay, which one is it then?
Oh no, I can't bring up the fucking table.
Alonso, Palace versus
Or the
Burnley.
schedule. I can't get it to come up.
We
Wow.
do think Leeds will beat Spurs, yes.
I'll have to say that this is my upset special. For some reason, I want Burnley to stay up, and I
Yeah, we love Sean Dyche.
I think that they're on a roll. I think that before their 20th, now maybe they're on a roll where they could get out of regulation zone. Regulation.
Tony,
And so yeah, I just hope that Crystal Palace are a rival. So yeah, I hope they win.
Yep.
Burnley.
I think Patrick Vieira is doing a good job, Gary. 6 wins out of 26, but 11 draws and 9 losses. It's not terrible.
A game tomorrow would be who gives a fuck game of the week, Ray.
Yeah, Southampton, Norwich.
I finally got the table and shit to break. Come up. Yeah.
Who got man of the match? I think you gave it to who? Lacazette?
No, I gave it to Odegaard.
Odegaard. Okay, Tony of the Lambs. Gary, Palace versus Burnley.
I think I started it, dude.
Okay. It's all this freaking talk about sausages.
Can I tell you a funny Silence of the Lambs story? The first time I ever saw that film, right, it was back
You're
in the
going to
days.
tell us anyway, Stan, so go ahead.
It was back in the days, right, when you could get pirate videos. A guy would come around with a suitcase with VHSs, and we got Silence of the Lambs, and it had just come out at the cinema, maybe it hadn't come out, and loads of us came around to watch it, and we had the lights off, and we were watching it, and no one said a word for the whole film. And you know that bit where they find out where the bad guy is, and they're watching from a van. And they decide to send an undercover policeman up to the house, and he's got like a big flower box, and he knocks on the door. And all this time it's been dead silent in the house. There's about 6 of us, and when the guy goes up and rings the doorbell from the background, my mate just goes, "Candygram for Mongo," and you see Blazing Saddles. The whole room went up. That was a good point to pause, get a beer, go to the toilet, but it was the most well-placed comment. Ding dong, Candygram for Mongo, and the guy had the big box. It was, if you've seen Blazing Saddles, you'll know what I'm talking about.
That's great.
Sorry about it. I had to get that one out.
The mayor on put sharp blades.
Oh, we have our movie.
Tony's
segment,
leaning into this. Tony's leaning into this thing. We
Hey,
got.
I'll go with Savor Wave a boat swaying.
I don't think we care about the Carabao Cup final enough to talk about it because it's freaking Chelsea and Liverpool. And this is the cup final of the teams who can't win anything because Manchester City's going to win everything else.
Who cares about the second tier domestic cup final? Nobody.
We would have if we were in the final, but
you would have.
Can they just tire themselves out or something like that? That's what I would like to see.
And perhaps it's better we're not in it because we're getting these results now, and this would have maybe upset our focus on the league right now. Lonzo, I'll start you off. Brighton, Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard falling down the league.
Yeah, I think Stan had said earlier that that's one of his teams under somebody that he really didn't care for. So it's good seeing teams that are like normally at the lower end of the table do well enough to get. So yeah, I'm going for
Graham
Brighton.
Potter. Go for
I'm going
Brighton. Go for Brighton. Gary, you're going to pick Brighton, right? Or what's Steven Gerrard doing?
I think this will be a wash, right?
Draw?
Yeah. I think this will be a draw.
2-2.
Yeah, high scoring draw would be nice. Yeah.
2-2. Tony, I'll go along with a draw there. Tony, Brighton versus Villa.
Villa.
Man of few words. He's got a lot of work to do. So. he could be working. He could be working right there. We don't just see it on the camera.
I wish I knew
2 hours and 20 minutes in. I'm just trying to hurry the show along, right?
Yes, I got you.
Hey, we had a really big win today, so we should enjoy it.
Skip Stan. I have to skip over you, Stan.
I wish I knew a Saw reference because I don't know any, but I think Tony's got his cameras up there. He's looking at him. You know, every time he goes mute, he's talking into it. You know,
he always seemed like a nice chap on that podcast. He didn't look like the type.
Oklahoma man disappears. Sausage Fest starts on Monday.
All right, Man United versus Watford, Gary.
I would love to see
too.
a meltdown. I can't see it. Like United is home.
Yeah.
I just can't see Watford being able to surprise us, even though I would love to see that. I mean, wow, I would love to see that, but nah, I'm not even gonna. I just don't think Watford's gonna get anything out of that match. Yeah, I want to play a game. There you go.
Oh, okay. I thought he wanted to play Kahoot.
It's a little bit different than Kahoot.
Kahoot, the game that the app that Stan deleted. Rumor has it he deleted it.
Yeah, but he's competed 3 times since off camera.
Ready? Thanks for joining us. See us on Sunday, Ready. Up the Arsenal always. Tony, Man United, Watford. One word answer.
Yeah. Man United.
Man United. Stan, Man United, Watford.
Who did the Kahoot music there?
You're muted.
Well,
You're better than this, Stan.
Where's it
You're a professional. You're better than this.
You know,
This is 6 out of 10 tonight.
I don't think I've ever laughed this much on a podcast. I've never seriously. You've reduced me to fucking tears, man. Don't understand, right?
This guy.
I don't. Go to someone else.
Who knew Comrade Toast would
care.
be replaced by something funnier?
Alonso, Man United, Watford.
United.
That's good. I like that one, Tom. The upcoming game of Kahoot. If you lose, you die, or worse, you have to watch a Spurs season review DVD. Man United's going to win, Alonso, right?
Yeah.
All right. This one we would need to spend a minute or two. West Ham versus Wolves, Gary. Somebody's going to drop points. Wolves are going to be angry.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, you know what? No, nobody dropped points.
Draw?
So, yeah, I want to draw. I don't want anybody getting any more than 1 point.
Okay. Tony, Wolves versus West Ham.
Draw.
All right. And Stan.
Yeah, I'll go for the draw.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Wolves are going to be mad. And, that's it. We're coming to the end of the show, right?
Yeah. West Ham has been consistent, so, yeah.
Did I miss anything?
Leicester
Did we
and
did we
Chelsea.
win? I don't forget. Did we talk about the win today?
Yeah.
Did we do Leicester Chelsea?
No, because Chelsea are playing Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, that's it. I forgot. Sorry.
I would say you've been preoccupied, but that's okay.
He's been preoccupied.
You've been busy.
The vacancy light just went on at the house.
Tony's Fun House. Tony's House of Horrors.
At the motel.
Blink, 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 blink.
Third hotel.
But the O doesn't light up. It's like, you know, one of the letters is out.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, listen, if anybody is in, I'm dropping the link here.
Give them some
come
time
and
this
say-
time, Ray.
Come and say hello backstage. Tony, we're going to do some things for you in the next coming weeks. So we're going to be inviting some people on to maybe
Yeah,
raise
Ben-
awareness.
It's been a fucking year since I started my GoFundMe, and it's
I
kind
know,
of
we really have to. I was thinking of other ways of doing that, and let's start doing some collaborations, and let's get some people.
I'm kind of
in here.
disappointed. You got Mr. Tom, you got all these people placing big bets and winning. Why isn't anybody donating like nice old Warren did? He gave a third of his earnings to me. That was nice.
It was nice, yeah.
That was £50, $75.
Yeah.
Way to go, Warren.
We gotta get you to that, and listen, we gotta get more awareness out there, and we'll do that maybe on Sunday. We're gonna have the Guns and Yellow Ribbons guys coming over, and Stan's been doing some podcasts with them. Actually, the family's been branching out. Stan's been doing some stuff, and Gary's been doing some stuff. You've been spreading your wings. Burkham Wonderland and Guns and Yellow Ribbons, and
Over and over again with Guna Rich as well. It's time to promote the brand again. Got to give Gary a run for his money. He's everywhere, Gary. So I'm coming back, mate. I'm coming back out of retirement.
once he gets
I don't know if I can keep up with you. So
once he gets that fifth continent, it's the moon, it's Mars, it's Venus.
Yeah, that one year we had the summer of Stan. Now we're going to have a winter of Stan.
Yeah, so listen, join us Sunday. Grab the StreamYard link, Steve Denham, if you want to come and say hello. You can keep your camera off if you want.
Can I just say can I just say to everyone as well, because I think Fergus from and maybe Trevor as well are coming on right with Ray and the guys on Sunday from Guns and Yellow Ribbons. But if you're out there, right, and maybe you're living abroad, you don't get to see games, maybe you've only been supporting Arsenal since the 90s, you know, if you want to find out about the history, some really good, interesting stuff and history about Arsenal, if you go to YouTube and you go to Guns and Yellow Ribbons and you go to the bit where it says videos, like playlists, I think it is, they've got about 8 videos which goes through the history of Arsenal, and it's got, you know, photographs, and the two guys that do it with Fergus, they really know their onions. And I'll just give you an example. I mean, I've been supporting Arsenal for quite a long time now myself, and I only just found out that Arsenal originally was a cricket club. It started off, I don't know whether it was the founders and that, but originally the bones and the heritage of Arsenal came from a cricket club. So, you know, if you want to find out about Arsenal, it's worth a watch.
you're telling you going after people that supported you. You know, that's just, you know, that's Tony.
Mr. Tom, we love you, Mr. Tom.
Yeah, Mr. Tom.
You and Ben over there on the Lolos, you're good guys. So, yeah, good stuff, Stan. And the Guns and Yellow Ribbons do some good history. I didn't know that. Cricket.
Yeah, I had no idea myself.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for watching, everyone. Do drop in, whoever wants to grab that StreamYard link. Come in and say hello to Tony and the boys.
Yeah, Tony, we want to see this well that you built.
I didn't build a well. I built a fire pit that's 4 by 8.
Well, I don't think the fire pit's ready to go right now, so I assume there's a well.
There may or not be a well.
Have you got a car, Mr. Tom? Can you not sell that as well? A dog, a wife? I mean, what the fuck?
Hey, we only want 1% of everybody's wealth, and we can get there by doing that. You know, I think by collaborating with some other podcasters, we'll be able to get them to put the awareness out on their channels, hopefully. But yeah, Tony, you don't want Mr. Tom backstage.
Guy, dude. Me and Tom get along good, just fine.
Listen. You want to watch yourself, Tony, right? Because you've not met Cyril, and if Mr. Tom gets Cyril on the firm, you'll know about it. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say is Mr. Tom is pretty prominent, and if he disappears, we know what's happened. If he goes missing from podcasts,
yeah, what happened to Mr. Tom? I don't know. We don't know what happened to Mr. Tom. He's gone. It's like the good fellas when they go, he's gone, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Life is good right now. We are hopefully fighting for top 4. The top 4 conversation continues. On Sunday, we'll have some more in-depth conversation about that with Fergus and the guys over in Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Thank you, Stan and Alonso up top. Thanks for joining as always. Thank you, Gary and Tony.
You're not thanking me. You're just saying my name. That's nice, man.
Hey, good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
All right. See you guys later. We'll see you on Sunday. Come on, you Gunners. Up the Arsenal.